Yeah, I recorded that first part. Okay,
Yeah.
so
That's the intro?
yeah, that's
Alright,
the intro.
bro.
Welcome to the first episode of the Canadian podcast Peaker's Advantage. We have your host, me, Davey CSGO. We have Daps, Semphis, and FNS. Their Twitters are all on the screen for you. So, how's everybody doing today?
I'm doing
Doing
great.
great, man. How are you doing?
I
I'm-
could be better.
You know what? I was doing pretty good, and then I saw FNS's face. He was the first face I saw, and it made me better. It made me
I don't know.
feel.
I'm just kind of like I
fantastic
feel
today.
like I'm the most professional room here. Like you guys are.
I don't know.
Like,
Did I have my
Davey,
own
is that
office?
a green screen?
stuff.
No, this is actually my office.
Davies looks like a green screen. Can you like, go back there and like pick up photo?
It's
Yeah, I got you.
office. It's his office, dude.
He hasn't touched one of those books.
This guy's got a couch.
He's
facing
not read a
someone.
single thing.
Someone can just sit down on his couch and watch him play.
You could.
Why do you have an office?
Because I'm sick as fuck, Finesse. You should get on my level.
Why do you deserve
Dad's
an office?
office.
Yeah.
Why do I deserve an
Work's being
office?
done in there.
All the work.
Dad's like, keep it down.
All the work is being done in here. Okay. Good shit.
Those are all-
So,
yes.
so since two of you have been to DreamHack Valencia over this last weekend, let's talk about that a little bit. So, what was your? How'd you guys think about the event? What did you guys think about the event?
Started off pretty bad. I'll tell you a story. So
Tell us a story.
I was at the when we got off the plane, instantly things went bad because we got off in Spain or whatever, and then all of a sudden we had to obviously we have to usually look for the guy that has like the DreamHack sign or whatever,
Yeah.
but there's no one. There was no human at all for us. So there was nobody waiting for us or anything like that. We called multiple times. There's nobody for like 50 minutes. We're like, okay, fuck this. We're just gonna cab. Thing is, these cabs are smaller than standard cars, so you could only fit one real big bag. You know, so
And
had to
you
get,
could barely
one
fit.
person. Yeah, exactly. So you got one cab per person at this point, right? Well, at least for me, I was just one because I had two bags. So I get to the hotel, and I'm assuming this guy takes card. Let's just say he didn't take card, and he didn't.
No, you have to
take
tell them before.
U.S. dollars either. I didn't know that though. So he didn't take U.S. dollars either. But I was giving him more money than he would actually make from euros. I was giving. I put 40 down for a 3-minute ride to the hotel. I gave him a 40, then I gave him a 60, then I gave him an 80, and every time he just got mad, like more and more pissed at me for like even the.
Dude, there was a
The balls on
€15
me.
cab ride.
That sounds like a lot like a him problem, though. Like you're trying to give him
No.
$80, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I won't take it." You're like, "All right,
Yeah,
fucking
and I
don't
was
take it
just
then."
like,
Like,
I was just like, this is a fucking joke, and I got really pissed, but he wouldn't open the trunk. So I'm just fucked at this point. Like he has my bags. So for literally for like 30 minutes, I was standing outside while Mike, our like coach, would look for a fucking ATM. And then because we couldn't find an ATM and couldn't find anyone that could give us euros, we then had to fucking drive to the nearest ATM to get this guy his money. Fucking little piece of- and
Sounds like you got fucked.
Rick is a baller though. Rick just fucking threw 100 at a guy, and he's just like, "Oh, well, for me," and then just fucking took.
see, I feel like if I was your cab driver that you were offering the 80 to, that's exactly what I would have done too. Like, why
I
did
know.
this guy want euros so bad? He's making bank off of you right now.
Yeah, but he's thinking you're disrespecting him. You know,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
a piece
Yeah,
of
like,
shit
the
American.
goal on me
like-
to like not ask.
He probably thought it was
take card
fake
and
money
shit.
or something.
You don't understand. When I asked if he took card, he was like insulted. Like, he was like, "What? No." Like,
Not as bad as Corey got fucked coming back from Serbia though, or going to Serbia. You got fucked
Oh,
big
yeah.
time. You
like,
should tell
missed your
that
flight
story.
or some shit.
Well,
I mean, I got fucked going
Yeah.
to Serbia too, but he got it worse than I did.
I had to do a Logitech promo thing in New York, and my connection happened to go through New York. So I was like, I'm not gonna fly back, and then the next day fly to New York. Like literally, I would have flown back, and the same evening I would have flown 7 hours again back to New York. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna stay here. So I called the airline, like, well, you know, like the same day that I was leaving. I was like, yeah, so I'm already in New York, and they're like, nah, your flight's fully canceled now. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they canceled the whole thing, like the way back, the way there, everything is fully gone, and like no refund either. Like you don't get any of it; it's just gone. And I'm just like, and they're like, yeah, it stops people from saving money on like, you know how people do that shit where they like skip,
Yeah.
they'll order like a longer flight and save money. I'm like, pretty sure you don't save any money by doing this. Like, you know, I don't know, but anyways, then I called the eFrag people and I'm pretty sure all their credit cards were bouncing because they couldn't buy my flight there or something. But they were saying it was like some technical problem, but whatever. They're like, yeah, just buy it, and then when the day you get there, we'll like refund you instantly. I get there, no refund, and then on the way back, I go and the guy is like, yeah, you should get there really early. And I was thinking to myself, like, why would I get there really early? Like, this airport's like not that busy. So I show up like an hour and a half, like standard hour and a half early. Now my flight's bounced here too. Like, apparently, like the funds didn't go through. And I'm just like, awesome. So the guy comes over and then they have to book me a flight for tomorrow because all the other ones are like $5,000 now. And I'm just like, awesome. So. Yeah.
So you ended up staying like 2 extra days in Serbia. I remember that we're all leaving and you're just hanging out. You're just like,
Well,
I'll see you guys in a few days.
People don't know, but what they did was like the event actually ended on Sunday or something. All right, I think it was Sunday,
Yeah.
and then a very few lucky people got to fly home on Monday. But most people flew back on Tuesday because it was cheaper for them to pay for the cheaper flights on Tuesday and just do another night of hotels. And I'm thinking like, cool, it's cheaper for you, but no one wants to stay here for an extra day. Like, that's kind of bullshit. Like, you just send the people home. Like, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was one of the
We
lucky
still haven't
ones.
been paid.
Oh yeah, for EFRAG, that's true.
Yeah, we haven't been paid, and I have not been reimbursed my $1,600 flight.
You're just out $2,000 going to Serbia.
Yeah,
An international tournament.
International tournament cost me money to go there.
Well, I got fucked flying over there because my first flight that was flying from LA to Paris was late. And my connection was only like an hour after the original flight was supposed to land. So I missed the first connection, which was at like 10 a.m. in Paris. And the next flight to Serbia wasn't until 8 p.m. So I had to stay in Paris for 10 hours in the middle of the day. And then
no flights are going to
exactly, who's fucking going to
lot,
Belgrade, right? Like not a
like
whole lot of
one.
people, yeah. So then I go to get on my flight after sitting in the airport for 10 hours at 8 p.m. after I had already missed the first day of matches at this point. Like I already missed like the first like 3 matches or whatever. And I go to get on the flight that's at 8 p.m. and the boarding pass they gave me wasn't valid. Like it didn't work. So then they were like, you have to go back to the Air Serbia help desk to get a new one. Go back to the Air Serbia help desk. Air Serbia help desk is closed because it's like 8:30 or 7:45 or whatever. So there's no one at the Air Serbia help desk. So no one could print me a new boarding pass. So then I ended up having to stay overnight in Paris and get the flight the next morning, like the 10 a.m. flight the next morning. And that's why I missed the whole first day of matches. So thanks a lot, Air Serbia and Air France. That was real sick of you.
But we had the pleasure of playing with Ocean, so.
Dude, I've never had like these types of like problems with flights and shit. That's fucked.
Nah,
I'd lose
same.
my shit.
Yeah, no, dude. I honestly, I almost broke down in tears when I walked to the Air Serbia help desk and there was no one there. I was just like, oh my fucking god! I just walked like 10 minutes across the airport for this.
Actually, the craziest thing that ever happened to me was that I had to re-go through security because the terminals were fucking like they switched my gate and I had to literally go to another terminal.
Oh
I
yeah.
hate when you have to go like across the airport. Going through security, once you get through security, you're good. You're like, all right, I'll go get some food. Like, I'll chill a bit, like get a coffee or something. It's not that bad once you're in there, waiting. It's just like getting your boarding pass and going through all the bullshit. Like, it takes forever.
For me, I just need a McDonald's to like be at an airport. If a McDonald's is there, like Frankfurt Airport is my favorite because it just has like 5.
5
There's just
McDonald's.
Burger King, KFC, just everything
Dude, it's
lined up in
amazing.
order.
No, it's amazing.
Dude,
honestly.
I got fucked coming back from San Jose, or no, San Francisco, one of these sands in California, and it was when that Delta crashed. Like their servers all crashed, so
Oh,
literally
yeah.
like 7,000 flights got canceled. You know what these motherfuckers did? You just sit there, and it's like you'll be boarding in 15 minutes, and they did that for like 7 hours. They would just bump it from they'd like just push it back like 15 minutes, and so you're just standing there like. Well, can you not just like
started faster.
Like, can you not just give us like a realistic
Oh my
time
God,
so I can
FletchCon.
like leave? And then the whole terminal was a busy, like, you know how terminals are kind of busy? You've never been in this kind of terminal. This is like everyone is canceled. So literally every seat of every bar, restaurant, everything full, completely full. There's barely room to stand in here. There's so many people. And apparently it was like their systems, they got everyone kind of back up, but then they didn't have enough staff to like actually like fly the planes like they
Then
needed.
Corey started working for Delta.
Yeah.
Started
I actually
eating the traffic.
I kind of was because he would always walk up and they'd be like, "Do you guys know when we're leaving?" And I'd be like, "No clue. Like it says up there, but don't trust that."
Dude,
Like,
I've noticed that too. Do people always come up to me and ask me those questions? Like whenever there's shit going on, I don't know why. Like, but it seems like everyone's always asking me, and I'm always like so fucking grumpy too, because like
You
I'm
look like the kind
traveling.
of guy that would know things, but unfortunately,
But unfortunately,
last guy to know.
dude, and the worst is they come
A
up
lot
to me
of
and they
unread books.
and they ask
Yeah.
me, and like people will ask me like how to get to like their gate, and I'm like, follow the signs, dude. Like I'll
Maybe,
always
you
be
definitely
mad
have
grumpy.
the look of a guy that knows things. Not
Yeah.
intelligent, just knows things. Useless things.
It's all the books back there, just a
then
bunch
they
of
ask
useless
you
info,
and
you
you're
know.
like, no, I don't know anything.
No, it's
I know nothing.
it's just that I'm grumpy. Like when I'm traveling, I'm one of those grumpy travelers, dude. Like I'm just like I'm not in a good mood, and people come up to me like, "Can you help me get to this gate?" I'm like, "Follow the signs." Like I'm like super rude about it. I don't know, but people always ask me. Just go ask someone else. Like I probably have like resting bitch face
I don't,
too.
I don't know about you guys, but I fucking hate European. Like just going to Europe. Europe blows compared to NA. Like it's
Especially just
seriously
coming
blows.
last. Just like
Oh, that's
traveling 8,000
definitely-
kilometers.
And just
Just
always
play
and just never
Tokyo.
getting out of groups. Like
I should have made it out of
it's,
groups. Fair.
oh yeah, yeah.
it's
What's your
not so bad.
experience? Sorry. go ahead.
Sorry, it's not so bad going to Europe if you're gonna be there for like around 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Because then like it doesn't feel like so bad to take those flights. But when you go there on like a fucking Wednesday and then you fly back on a Monday, it's like you feel like you just went on a plane and then went home. Like it's like so fast and it's just like
No, but like even so, like Europe in general is not good.
oh, you mean like
like
food
the
and stuff
place,
too, right? Yeah.
Like in general, it's shit. Straight up. Like
Like people talk
everything is
shit.
small.
People talk shit about NA, but we have way better customer service.
Oh yeah,
than
without a
these people
doubt,
do.
dude.
Like
These people get mad at me for knowing English better than they know English. They're just upset with me because I speak the language. They're just mad at me.
I can't tell you how many places I've tried to like double the meat in a meal and them just tell me no. Like
Oh,
but
oh
it's
yeah,
like,
no, that happens all
I'm
the
like,
time.
I'm like, yeah, but I'll pay you more money though. And they're like, no.
That's
and I'm
not
like-
what this fucking taxi driver.
I'm like, you don't want money? Like and then one time I was like, all right, can I just buy 2 of this meal and you just give me the meat in this one? I don't want like, just come like I'll pay for both of them. You just give me the meat from the other one. The girls listen, no. And I'm like, all right, like I bet like I guess I'll order both of these and
Or, like,
fucking pick the food
Their,
apart.
their lingo is funny too. Like you know how standard like you're not supposed to give tip like in Europe. So I got room service one time, and I don't know where this. I think this is. Oh yeah, this is in Ukraine at Starladder, and I got room service. And the first time I got room service, he like came up and he gave me the food or whatever. I signed the fucking thingy, and then the receipt, and he goes, "Do I get a thank you?" But what he meant was, "Do I get a tip?"
So did you
looked
say
at him-
thank?
I looked at him dead in the eye, and I'm like, "Thank you." And he's like, no. And I'm like, no, thank you. I didn't understand till like the third time, and I'm like, sorry, dude, I don't have any cash, because they never asked for tip ever in Europe until this moment.
That's mad funny.
Yeah, I think at some nicer hotels and some nicer places they kind of like expect like a little bit more, but most places they like some people feel like insulted if you try to give them a tip. They're like shoo you away, and you're like, all right, well.
That's happened to me in Spain. They just didn't take my tip. Like they gave me the bill and they put little, you write like $5 in the tip section for your credit card. I wrote $5. They didn't charge me the $5 all 4 times. They just like didn't take $20 for free. I'm just like, okay.
Dude, I had the exact opposite problem happen when I was in Bermuda last summer. They build the tips into the bills, like there, like they automatically take 15% there, like it's part of the bill. Like they just add 15% to it, and I was like adding 15%.
Bermuda?
Yeah,
Why?
because it's sweet there. You should go there. It's like
Yeah, you
a
should go there, dude.
you should go there, man. It's
You
sweet. No, it's
Check
it's
it
like a
out.
super. It's a really nice island, and I had a friend who I met when I was younger, and he lives there. He's from there, and so I went there, but like there's 15% gratuities built into the bills. And then I would just add 15% tips on top of that. So these guys were getting double tips from me, and I had no clue. Like I'm like, I don't know. Like it seems dumb. Like people are like, why don't you just like check your bill? Like why don't you just check your receipt? I'm like, I don't know. I just look at the total, add 15%, and give it to them. Like, and so I was like, I was double tipping for like a week, and shit's already like super expensive there. So like,
Because you're
it was-
balling out of control.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, some places here have the auto gratuity, but usually like it says like really specifically like built in, and it doesn't. Most places don't even offer like a tip spot if they do that. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there won't even be a thing. I
Well-
mean, you could leave cash if you wanted, I guess. But
Yeah, we were paying with everything in cash, which was
Oh, yeah.
the downfall.
All right. Let's go back to DreamHack Valencia here.
Yeah, go back. Go back.
We're gonna talk about fucking
Why?
tipping around the world.
Finesse doesn't want to relive this. He's like, let's
Finesse
keep
doesn't
going
want
with
to
this.
relive
Alright, so
DreamHack
let's go back
Valencia.
to
Going back
CLG's,
to-
just CLG's, just like performance at this event. Like, let's just start off with the first BO1 against us. How did you feel in that?
Okay, so you guys have to understand something. Daps is the little scummiest vetoer in the history of this game. Like, I look at this guy in the eyes, right? And I'm like, let's just play. Like, let's just play. Like, don't try to outplay.
Let's just play
don't
a
try to
real match.
Yeah, like, don't try to
Word for
outsmart me
word.
this veto. Let's just play the game. Right? So in my head, I'm thinking, like, we got a gentleman's agreement. Like, this is fine. We're going to play for real. This fucking guy goes ahead and bans any real map that exists in the game. Train, Cash, and Mirage. All gone.
The second
So
I
now
ban
I'm
Mirage, he
forced-
just looks at me.
Yeah, I'm just like, what are we gonna have to? We're stuck on Overpass now. Well, it's Overpass, Nuke, Inferno, and another. What's the other shit?
Nuke's a pretty good one though, honestly.
Cobble.
Inferno, Nuke. Oh yeah, Cobble. And it was between Cobble and fucking Overpass, and I'm like, what the fuck do I want here? If Overpass, we could probably beat them just walking into B. So we just fucking pick. I had to pick Overpass, and I'm just like, fuck. And then I was just fucking pissed because the veto went that way, and Daps is like, like laughing his ass off, and I'm just mad. Like telling my teammates, I'm just like, dude, this is a joke. You have to play Overpass.
Dabs pulled my rank S strat. Insta-ban Mirage. No one else knows what to do. They're just like, oh shit! Like.
So then we played them. Pretty, like Breeze was like 0 and like I'm not trying to talk shit. He's a good player, but he was like 0 and 9, so he got off to like a really bad start. Pete was switching his guns instead of shooting at me. That wasn't good. And then we ended up winning like 16-9 or some shit, or 11, 16-11 or something.
16-11.
And then yeah, so that's how that happened.
All right, tell us
Very
that match
quick.
from your point of view, Daps.
Well, wait. First, I
mean-
want to say, so FNS, what do you think about Daps out fragging you by 3 kills?
It's non-impact kills though.
Non-impact.
0
I was
impact.
just activating myself that match.
I told Daps before the game started, we need to start looking out for ourselves as in-game leaders. We can't start just like thinking like we can't be selfless anymore. And then yeah, Daps went off.
I had a lot of exit kills, but we were feeling it. So go
Alright.
on about the next BO3. Or what was it? No, BO1 against NIP. How was that?
Honestly, like they're not that sick, but they beat us, so whatever. Like realistically, they're not like insane. You know, like if you play like SK, they're insane. If you play like G2, they're insane. But you play NIP, they make a lot of mistakes. But like if you don't capitalize on them, they just
Well,
should have.
In their defense, they did just recently add 2
I
players.
agree.
Like,
I do agree with that. But they were
So,
just like expecting us a lot, and it was kind of hard to play against.
I know what you mean though. Playing NIP, even when they're like one of the top like 3 or 5 teams in the world, it definitely feels like it's easier to like take battles and like you just know what to expect more. It's like you can kind of predict like how they'll rotate and stuff. Sometimes you play some of these Brazilian teams, you have no idea what's going on. Like you're just getting like flanked from spots you never even knew existed in the map, and like you're just dead. And you're like, was that my bad or is he insane? like you don't know. Like there's no one
But
knows.
NIP isn't like insanely tactical or anything, so they're kind of easy to read. They just if you like are on par with their aim, usually it's possible to beat them, like very possible. But they just owned us that game. That's all.
So also I was gonna ask you, FNS, were you guys confident going this LAN after losing to me, my team with Davey and Mitch?
Yes,
with
you guys are mad good in scrimmage. I'll give you that right now. Like I have not played a better team in scrimmage in my entire career. But like the worst part is Davey doesn't improve as like a player. I've known this guy for as long as I can remember. I've known this guy, and every single time I play him, I am upset that he as a player exists, not as a human. As a human, I love Davey, but I can never see this guy being a successful player. Just the way he chooses to play. Just,
Wow.
It's laughing.
Dude,
but I
no,
just
it
don't
was so funny because you were saying this shit in game too while we were playing, and we were just shitting on you too. That was the best part.
yeah.
Like you were just getting absolutely shit
Yeah,
on.
all five
And
of you had better aim than all five of us, and we were just getting done. And I'm just like, if this like, I just don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
There's shots being hit in those scrims that don't normally hit.
no, there
And
was some stuff that went on.
I was truly shocked.
I
Like,
remember
these
one
guys
round.
deserve, like an award.
I remember one round you smoked. Corey was opping Arch on Inferno, and you smoked him off, and he pushed through the smoke and fucking killed you, lining up a smoke. And he was like, Corey was like, "Oh my god, FNS is so fucking mad right now."
But the thing is, I wasn't mad then. I was mad from round one. Like round one to the end of that game, I was like, "This
But to
is
clarify,
the
my play was
hardest game I've
smart.
ever
All
played."
right.
No, I get it. I understand. It's
Finesse was just mad he was scrimming you guys.
No, like but it's Davey that makes me mad. It's nobody else on that roster.
Finesse hates losing to me. He hates it, whether it's important or not. He hates it.
But I don't lose to you when it matters.
No,
This
I
is
know.
why
No, that's the
I don't
worst. That's the
understand.
worst part. You always beat. Like I think I've beat you in matches. Like
Yeah,
I think I beat you in like
Pro
two
League and
BO3s.
shit,
I beat you in like
times.
2 BO3s total. You beat me in like 12.
I know, but it makes me mad because like you're still the same player. You're still Dave, like a motherfucker.
But that's not true though, and you know it. I've changed my style of play so much in the last like 9 months.
Let's change the
All
style.
right. Let's go
Let's
on to
change
the
your
red
style.
reserve.
Just changed my whole style.
All right, let's finish Valencia. Red
Nothing
reserve.
else.
Finesse.
Dude.
Let's
Okay,
go map
so-
by map.
Well, first map was Cobble, 1 pistol, 3-0, and then for whatever reason they started walking out upper B, walking out A, like walking. No nades were thrown. They just walked out with 3. They thought they were good. They were apparently like they were entering us, walking out of places without like no execute, nothing. We like have nades out and shit. They just own us. So they caught us off guard on Cobble by doing that shit. Cash. Still close game. I think they should have closed it out. They didn't. Fucking, we won pretty like close rounds. Won like the crucial 2v2s at the end, and then Mirage. We
Go from the start of the game.
Go.
Start from the very
So
end.
on Cobble FNS, what were you thinking when you held tab and you just saw you were just getting dominated by a guy named Freddy Frog?
Freddy the Frog, and I couldn't believe my eyes, ears, nose, nothing was believable.
Nothing against him as a player, but as a name, that's kind of like
right. No, I agree. Like, why have an alias like that just to fuck with me? And then it's just like Michael Lele, dude. Just everyone on that team. I just was like, when I went into that game, I'm like, man, the way the maps went, Cobble, Cash, Mirage. I'm like, if we lose this BO3, we need to go our separate ways. Everyone, including the video manager. None of us can be on the same team together if we lose here. But and then like obviously Cobble went badly, and we're like, you know what, fuck it, we'll beat them on Cash. Beat them on Cash. Mirage is good. We're up 10-5 at half on Mirage. That was tease. Win the pistol on the next half, so it's 11-5. And in my head, I'm thinking, guys, like let's just don't play ranges with umps. My entire team is like a rainbow on the map, far as possible. Everyone gets 1 by what's his name? Fucking Humpin or Hampus or some shit.
Humpus, yeah, no.
I don't. Yeah, so he owns my entire roster. At this point, like, whatever, they're like coming back, but we ended up like it's 15-12 us, and then obviously the defuse thing, and then just fucking lost.
No, don't gloss over that so quickly.
What
I
do you
want
want
to. I
from
want
the
to know.
Start of the round.
Yeah, from the very start of the round to the end of the round.
What was the
I
call?
honestly don't remember the start of the round. I just remember we were in a 3v1. I said, okay, so I think
Did
Cutler
anyone at the
and
start of the
Ethan were
round
dead.
say bye kids? Like
No, I had a kid. Cutler and Ethan were dead, right? So I'm at T spawn. Like I'm literally at T spawn flanking. It's a 3v1. We killed a guy default. It's a 3v1, and 2 people on like in Mumble go. Finesse as a kid. Don't worry. Just keep walking. Like wait, hold. So I keep flanking, and I'm like, just don't die, don't die, don't die. And like once I got up A ramp, someone called fire. So like I ran up, jiggle peeked him, and then we kill him. But it was established that I had a kid. Like it was established. So as soon as I killed him, I ran for the bomb. But someone beat me to the punch.
he's the one of those RWS.
And then Kenny goes. I actually don't want to say what Kenny said because it's gonna make him like look really like a dick. But like it was like he in his head he just thought that there was enough time. That's all it was. And so he knew I had a kit. Everyone knew I had a kit. I said I had a kit. I run to the bomb. He's on top of the bomb. I say again, I have a kit. Looking at him in game, he goes, "Don't worry, I got this." I proceed to then take my headset off, and as I'm like taking my headset off, I like think to myself like, did he really have a kit? So my brain's like, oh yeah, we won, but at the same time, does he have a kit? Because the way he said I got this, I'm like, this guy has 5 kits right now. The way he said that, I'm like, surely he's got a kit. Because like if he didn't have a kit, he didn't have time. So yeah, so he's
And you're like
defusing.
logged out of Steam already. You're
No,
like,
Michael is
Yeah.
already at my glass, about to shake my hand. So at this point, like the game is over, and like obviously, like at the end, do you know when like just before the bomb blows up, the guy goes, "Oh no!"
yeah, like,
Yeah.
He said it, and I said it. Let's just say he said, "Oh no," I said, "Oh no," and I just
it was a sound cue. You didn't actually visually see the bomb blow up. You heard it.
well, like I was looking at the screen, I saw like just explosion, and I'm like, "No, this can't be how I lose." And then like obviously since people like logged out of the game or whatever, because I was trying to just get right back into the game because it was 15-13, it wasn't like over, and then like but the thing is 2 of their players left because they thought it was over, so like we had time to like kind of like be like, you know, it's fine, whatever, just fucking move on. We go up 3-0 in overtime, don't win a single round the next half, so it's 3-3, and then they just fucking won.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think it should be 3 like best to 4 in OT, or do you like the 5-round OTs better? Because I personally, I feel like the 5-round OTs don't go to like double OTs as much. Like
I
usually
agree,
someone
too.
like wins in them,
Yeah.
but
I think 5 rounds are a little bit better, honestly.
Yeah.
It was weird to me that tournament they were giving us 16k, so like you'd never
Yeah,
run out of money.
16k MR3. Yep.
I'm like, that's insane because you just op all 3 rounds. You could literally
Yeah.
not save any of those rounds, and you're fine.
I don't mind the 16k MR3, but I do think 16k MR5 is better.
Well, think about 16k MR3 is that you have a CT side with full utility, and you
Yeah.
can have 1 auto sniper and 2 ops.
Yep.
Like that's ridiculous.
It
I
is.
think the only benefit of 16k is that when you have 10k, if you lose the 2, then you actually are like saving on like
yeah,
the 3rd round, which is like
Yeah, no.
kind of lame. But
That's what I like about the 16k is that like I feel like once it gets to overtime, it's kind of just like okay, like this is almost like when it's 16k MR3, it's almost like okay, this is a whole new game. Literally you can do whatever you want now to win this game is how I see it, which is I kind of like that about it.
I don't
It was
like the
funny.
16k. You can just buy like 3 auto snipers if you want.
Yeah.
There's just like no consequence, just doing whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I actually
funny
like that
when-
about the overtime though. I think that's
when
cool.
Kenny like when the bomb blew up or whatever, and like after like we kind of just like knew what happened and like we were chill, and it was like they were still trying to jump into the server. I look at Kenny, I'm like, dude, you can never ever look at Twitter ever again. You can't look at Twitter. You can't look at Reddit. You will never be like this. Your life has now changed.
Well, you know,
Forever.
when it happened, and I was talking, I forget, I was watching it with somebody. I don't remember who I was watching with, and they were like, "I can't believe no one said Finesse had the kit." And I'm like, I don't think that's what happened. Like, I remember thinking, I'm just like, there is no way that between the 5 of them, they didn't know Finesse was the
He said
only
it
one who
10
had the
seconds
kit.
before the defuse.
Yeah,
He said it
I was
after we
like,
got the
there's
last
no
gun.
way. I was like, I think Kusa just hopped on that bomb. Like, I remember
the only
saying
reason I
that.
was
I was like,
looking
I
at
think he
Kenny-
just hopped on it, dude. Like,
The only reason
But
I was like,
FNS,
at the bomb was to defuse it.
yeah.
do you not feel like it's still kind of partially your fault for not TKing him and defusing?
I was thinking about that.
He
I was like,
said
man,
that,
like,
yeah.
what could I have done? Like, should I have TK'd him? But like,
I-
what if you just started
for-
swinging it?
You would have looked like a god if you TK'd
I
him.
know.
If you just TK'd him and saved the defuse, like
I just
No, that would have been a
His-
legendary moment.
I just believed in his. I got this. I just believed.
He has
I'm like,
5
yes, you do,
hits.
brother.
I mean, if you're actually in the game though, like it is hard to know like exactly if someone has it or not. You know,
Right.
like when there's comms and shit going on. So if he
Well, I
tells you you
knew-
got it, you
I
might
knew
just be
he-
like, oh,
Right.
he'll get it.
Well, in my
'Cause it
head,
c-
I'm
it could
thinking
be
he
so
has a kit.
close
The
sometimes.
second he says he has it, I'm like, surely he knows that there's not enough time. But like all this stuff went through my head. But like it was also the adrenaline rush of winning the game that you're like, fuck, like okay, fine, defuse, whatever. But in my head, I thought because 2 people were dead on my team that he picked up a kit.
I've had a
So-
similar moment happen to me against CLG actually, where you
Dude.
where you win the game, and
Dude, the worst part of all this is your biggest accomplishment in CS is beating the old CLG lineup to make the major.
yeah, no,
That's
well,
kinda
maybe
crazy.
beating the Vex lineup, you know,
I don't remember that.
that was the team we played after to make them like when we beat CLG, that was to put us 1-0 in the group,
Oh,
and
shit.
then we had to beat Vexed, but
CLG
that Vex
the
game was
favorite.
yeah, CLG was I mean every team was the favorite against us though, like there wasn't one team who wasn't the favorite against us.
I can't believe Davey made a major. Dude.
Yeah, how does that make you feel, Finesse?
Honestly, I was proud of you. I was like, man, like
I could
good
tell.
for him.
I could tell. You gave me a big hug the time I saw you after that.
Daps, what do we get talking about energy? You guys didn't have a good performance yet again.
Wait, you're not the host here. I was moving on.
Yeah, we're moving
I
on.
can leave my.
So like the next topic I have here is the jump bug. So we're gonna leave energy in the
hold
past.
on. Let me talk about the pauses at Valencia first.
All right.
What do you think about just a 1-2 minute pause for the whole match?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
gotta
playing. I'm just playing CLG. We're down like 8-1. I paused for 2 minutes. I'm paused for 2 minutes. Like, what am I gonna talk about for 2 minutes? Second half, we're like coming back. It's like 12-8. It's like, let's pause. Like, let's figure out the strat. I type pause, just like Ethan types like you only get one pause a match. I'm just like, great. That 2 minutes I used last half, I should have like used ahead of time.
Conserved some of it.
What do you think about that? Like, it should at least be
That was
like
definitely
2 pauses, 1 minute.
2 1-minute pauses, yeah, for sure. That's
Minute.
pretty dumb.
1-2 minute pause for the
But
whole.
the pause
be
would
of
not have
free.
helped. I assure you that. I had you read
Maybe
like a
not.
letter.
Maybe not.
Maybe he just needed an extra pause to really just
Why are we talking about the jump
unlock
bug
his
when
players.
energy is a much hotter topic?
Honestly, you're right, man. That's my bad. But we're gonna go to the jump
like
bug anyway.
Go ahead.
So, what do you guys think about it? First of all, I'm gonna go to Corey first. What do you think about the jump bug? Do you think it's Valve's responsibility to get rid of it, or do you think PGL should have banned it? And what do you think about it?
I think it is Valve's responsibility to get rid of the bug, just because, like, I mean, they need to at least say something like, we're working on it, we just don't know how to get rid of it. Because a lot of the times that Valve knows about these bugs, like, I've been in contact with Valve before on C9, we've literally told them about bugs, and they weren't able to, like, they didn't know why the bug was happening, if you know what I mean. Like, they didn't know how to fix it, is the
Yeah.
bottom line. So it's like, some people say Valve is lazy or whatever, but they might know about a bug, but unless you can replicate it a certain way so that they can fix it, there's nothing they can do until, you know, someone figures it out. So having a quick fix for it, I mean, they have known about it probably for months, but on the other hand, for PGL to ban it, I feel like it's like a weird situation, because they can ban it, but it's such a easy thing that you could do accidentally. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's really obvious if you're just standing there jumping up and down, right?
Especially if you're like
of
big
course.
and you like their whole game
Yeah.
playstyle is based around it. That like Legia accidentally did it even after like they agreed not to.
Right. So that
Yeah,
was the
it's-
problem I had with it mostly, was that like when people were saying PGL should have banned it, I didn't think PGL could ban it, only because if it was allowed in the whole lead up to the major, it was allowed through all the minors, major qualifier, everything, just because
Okay,
people
but
didn't
it's
know
like-
about it.
But the thing is, think about it from this perspective. They banned Olaf's boost, and they literally
Right.
like the other. They had to replay the match. because
So
Fnatic just
Olaf's
decided-
boost
Alright,
though,
I wanna
that's
explain
different
something
though.
about Olaf's boost really quickly. So first off, when I was on C9, we knew about this boost.
Yeah.
At the same time as them, because the guy that gave it to them gave it to us also. Now, the thing about the C9 or the Olaf boost is they went and asked the admins before. They literally, like, they got permission that it was legal. Okay, they literally asked some admins, allegedly. Maybe that's not true, but that's what I've heard. Is that they asked admins, they got a clear. Then when they did it, obviously the team disputed it. I mean, it's bullshit if you look at the demo. Like, there's literally nothing. They were just
Yeah.
getting shot from the sky. Like, it was like they were in a helicopter just fucking shooting people from, like, the air, right? Like, you didn't know where you're dying from. Maybe if you knew about it beforehand, Kenny could have just, like, bought an op and, like, posted on it or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, maybe. But, like, or I don't even know if he was on that lineup at the time.
He wasn't,
but
we got the
yeah,
idea.
Smiths, yeah. And and then another thing is, like, when he did the boost, even if the boost was legal, he was able to see over textures that he wasn't supposed to be able to. You know what I mean? So, like, that was the reason it kind of got overturned. I don't think the boost ever would have been overturned if he couldn't see over parts of the map he wasn't really supposed to, if you know what I mean. Because he was, like, wall clipping, basically.
But if he got permission, it's not on them at that point. I feel like that argument should
yeah.
be solid enough to be like, no, they can't do anything about it now.
Well, not
But,
even
like, they
that.
could have banned it after, right? Like, just like that's what I mean though. Like, when you see something like that happen, when the game is being abused in that way, there's a clear bug like the jump bug. It's clear, like it's a wall hack essentially on Banana and Inferno. It's a wall hack.
Well, the thing for me is that like the reason why that code is in the game is to limit the crouching ability, right? Remember 1.6 you could do like the crouch running, like the crouch hopping,
No,
and
yeah.
so Valve has those like crouch limitations in the game, like specifically to stop people from being able to abuse crouch, right? And then Big just found a way around that. Like I don't think it's so much of a bug as it is it's definitely an exploit that Valve should
Yeah, like,
fix.
I'm not blaming.
But
Big
it's
or
not
any
really a
other
bug.
team.
And like my problem with PGL, I mean, obviously they didn't ban it, which I think was the right move. Like the teams agreeing not to do it is fine, but like I think PGL shouldn't ban it because if Big practices leading up to the whole major doing something that's legal and allowed, and then they get to the major and all of a sudden they're like, actually you can't do it now. Like that can fuck up their whole practice. Like that fucks up everything they practiced, right? Which isn't fair, I think. Anyways, I think it
I
is up to
disagree.
Valve to get rid of it, though.
I think PGL should have said it's not allowed because Big's not a team that completely relied on it. Like they probably would have won all those matches without it, anyways. Like
Well, yeah, they
they're a
could've, for
team.
sure.
They're not. They're like Gobby's definitely not like basing his whole game plan around a jump bug.
No.
So it's
Well,
like
I mean,
I feel like
It's just
PGL
because they
should
played
have.
definitely
Inferno
huge
3
advantage.
times.
Yeah,
They
I
played
think
Inferno 3 times, and in Banana it was used like
The,
5,
the,
6
the
times.
only thing I think though is like honestly, it was really obvious if you just have like taps and just jumping up and down a banana for an hour doing it. Yeah, you can be like, oh, obviously you meant to do that. But what if I just like jump over like long A on overpass and I accidentally do it? You know what I mean? Like there's like when I didn't intentionally mean to do it, do you just like overturn the match because I got
That's
free
true, yeah.
info? Like there's like a lot of places you could do it when you know how you jump clear shit, right? You just jump around.
Dude.
That's my only issue is I wouldn't like to see someone punished that was not obviously doing it, but
Like Legia did it by accident, I'm pretty sure, but he soft
against
helped
SK.
and instantly naded him
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, I've been doing that shit for months in rank S at B on Mirage. You can jump peek upper B doing that same thing. Like this, it's not it's not like it's a new bug though. Is my point, or it's not
mainly
like it's a
seen it,
new
like,
exploit.
On Cash, on like
Yeah.
Highway
Yeah,
Box.
bit
Well,
on
you can do
cash.
it at upper B on Mirage. Like I've been doing it for months. Like it's not like some new thing. Like it's been around for a while.
It was just crazy how much it was abused. Like
I
think
think
it should
Big
be
just
gotten
found all the
rid of
best
from now on.
spots.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
like
They found
Pit
the
on
best spots.
Inferno and Banana half wall. Like those two are like insane.
Yep. No, it's definitely broken. Like I'm not saying it should be in the game. I just don't think it was PGL's job to ban it. I think it's Valve's job
fair
to deal
not
with
to
it.
ban it for the major, but I
Yeah.
think it's fair to ban it for the
Yeah.
next tournament.
Yeah, I
coming.
agree. Yeah.
Teams should just stop using it. Period.
I
agree.
I also find it weird when you do a gentleman's agreement, right? So everyone agrees not to use it, which is pretty much what's happened. I think every team has agreed not
Mhm.
to use it this tournament. But what do you do if a team's losing and he just starts using it? Like it's a gentleman's agreement. Like you don't like
That's what happens in
there's,
rank
like,
S.
you know what
They
I mean?
just
Like
get a bunch of shit on Twitter. It's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing really happens. You just look
That-
like a piece of shit.
yeah, I mean you look like a piece of shit. If you win, you won 500K. So I mean like personally
Well, that's
Like-
depends on what you care about, right? Like you care more
No,
about the
yeah.
win than you do about what people think. Then it's like whatever, you're fine.
there's
But
a
like it's
saying,
about the
if you're not
pros
cheating,
too.
you're not trying. So
That's true.
You
I
know,
mean, I personally, if I did a gentleman agreement, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean?
well,
But,
I know
like,
for me, I couldn't.
honestly,
I couldn't risk that networking hit right now, dude. I couldn't risk that. If you're SK, you could probably risk it and deal with it. You know, oh whatever, everyone hates us.
Yeah,
We're still the best team in the world. Who cares? You know. So it depends
that's
who you
kind of
are.
what I mean. Is like, like for me, I wouldn't do it if I agreed to it. I would probably use that bug, knowing that if it's not banned, the thing about a bug, right, is like if it's a known bug, like Davey said, it's been around for months. Are you choosing not to use a bug that's really beneficial that other people might be using versus you?
Right.
Like, at what point are you stupid for not taking advantage of something that's in the game? Now, you can talk all the shit you want about Big, but like other teams could have been using it, maybe have been using it. You know what I mean? And what are you gonna do? You're gonna say that? I mean, you just shouldn't use it while a team's just using it versus you. Like, it's just. I don't know. I don't like the bug at all. Don't get me wrong. I fucking hate it. It's stupid. It's basically a wall hack, like FNS said. It's just, I don't know.
No, I agree with everything you're saying about it. I think that like if it's not banned, you can't hate on Big for using it because it's going to give their team a clear advantage.
You definitely shouldn't hate on any team for using it
Yeah.
this event. But after this event, I
Yeah.
think it should be like
No.
people should make it a conscious effort not to use it. And
Well, I
if
think-
you use it accidentally, then I don't know.
Yeah, I think like you said, after this event, tournament organizers can ban it, but like you can't. I just don't think you can ban it in the middle of an event like that.
In
which is,
general, it's on Valve, right? Like Valve
Yeah, it
should
is on
fix
Valve.
the fucking overpass like bug right away. So like you can't even boost there anymore. So Valve should fix this too,
Yep.
realistically
yeah,
speaking.
it is
because
on Valve. Like Corey said, they might not
compromises-
know how.
like crouch hopping in CS 1.6, right? It's nowhere near what this impact is. Like this thing's impact now that Big has done it in the way that they have. Like you can see that you could do it on like you said, Mirage jump spotting B. That's so
Yeah.
much info.
No, it
Banana,
is. It's
it-
you don't have to use
and-
any.
and-
You don't have to use
and
any
on
of your
Mirage-
nades on Mirage. You don't have to
Yeah,
use anything. You don't have to use any nades, and you don't have to worry about getting shot. Like
Yeah.
it was super OP. Like
You
But
can
I
literally
think
be like,
the
you
bigger
can see
thing
somebody.
on Mirage is that
Yeah,
they
go ahead.
don't know that you saw them.
yep.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
like,
Yeah, like you could literally
They
have
just
your
be
upper
walking up.
run up to market and just post
You know,
up on B with you.
No, you know exactly what we did is I had I don't know if you know the pop flash from right outside market window. That pop flashes straight through the windows.
Yeah.
So I would just be jump spotting like that. I'd see someone and be like, and then I'd back up to van. I'd be like, okay, flash. They'd flash. I'd jump up on van and kill people standing there blind that didn't know I saw them. It's like super overpowered. It's super scummy.
Right.
But
Whereas the crouch hop in 1.6, you can't abuse to that extent. All you
well,
like,
if you
master
were
your
really good
sound.
at it, you could run at full speed
No,
without
I
making
was
any
like
sound.
insane at it with like Harwood, but like it wouldn't matter. Like it's not as much of a fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's not like as much of a
Well, the other thing is everybody just did it, so it was just like part of the game.
yeah.
And like
I just
it,
think
it wasn't
Source,
wasn't as
people just
broken.
Stop.
cheated source. So
if you crouch hop just with your keyboard, it was like it was fair in my opinion. It
Yeah.
was like when you started mouse wheel crouch hopping that you got like insane like
Yeah.
no sound. Like if you mouse wheel crouch hopped, you could literally make zero sound. Like
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
did
I
it
used to
right.
do
You could
keyboard
sprint
Harwood
across
too,
the map.
I'm pretty sure though.
Yeah, you could sprint across the map without making any like. Well, you would make like one footstep here and then if you mess it up, but you
I
could
love that
you
shit. though,
could
dude.
run across the whole
Yeah.
map without making any noise.
It honestly wasn't that big of a deal. It was just annoying for operas because you'd lag the
Yeah.
person sometimes, and that was kind of tilting. But
Yeah.
At least,
wasn't
but it's
an
not an info play. It's just like
Yeah.
such a like different.
You're just
like,
getting
this-
somewhere
It
fast.
is. No,
Well,
it is
yeah,
totally
exactly.
different. It's a totally different thing. But I was just saying like all I was saying with that was that Valve the mechanics that are causing this crouch bug to happen is because of the code they have in the game to stop something else from happening.
Yeah, and
Like-
people don't understand that there's been other bugs at majors like like the Olaf boost thing, and even at other majors there used to be a bug. I don't know if you guys know about this, but at one of the majors we played NIP, and there's a bug on train where you used to be able to go on top of the ladder, and if you went up at the right like speed and then you tap crouch, they would see your head, but they couldn't kill you. Like
Yeah, the
literally you
ladder
just
bug.
yeah. So like a lot of people knew about it, and like
Yeah.
we used it versus NIP and we lost, and they didn't use it. So I mean that's when NIP was fucking insane, like literally like 87-0 NIP. I mean nothing we could really do, but like yeah, I'm just saying like and other people use that shit versus us too. You know, like it was just people are gonna find these little things, and I believe that. Do you remember at the very start of CS:GO? This is when NIP was literally the best team in the world. I don't know if everyone knew about this. FNS might. Basically, you know how you see a red dot on radar through smoke sometimes? You know, like, and
The
you didn't
last
actually
half
see 'em?
second of a
Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah, now it's the last tap second of smoke, but before it used to randomly happen online, and people didn't know why. Randomly, the dot would appear. And people were like, "What the fuck?" But on land, the red dot always appeared if your crosshair was there, and people didn't know that. Literally every single time, if your crosshair was on where they actually walked across,
I
the
don't
red dot would always appear on there. And Nip used that shit forever. I was standing behind Get Red at LAN, and he was just standing there. Crosshair at a smoke, B main on like Inferno or CT inner on train behind a smoke. Red dot appears, a kill or two. You know what I mean? It's just like that's a bug. That's a
Yep.
fucking huge bug. Like you're now basically seeing a dude through a wall.
Yep.
That's harder than the jump spot thing. But this shit has been done at like all the past majors, almost not all of them, but you know, like quite a few of them. There's been bugs at.
If a team finds something and it's not to an extent where it's like you see over the whole map type like crazy thing and they use it, I don't blame the team because they found it. Like it's fair to use it if like, you know, you feel like it'll give you an advantage. But I think after, like when it's been established as a bug, I don't think people should use it anymore. It's just that simple.
Yeah. One more, I guess, just real quick, is like VG was probably one of the very games was probably one of the first teams to find the one-way smokes. I'm not sure if they didn't. I don't believe they really like unveiled that at the major because there wasn't majors back then. But I remember going to ESWC and we played very games and like we're just dying to RPK and we're just like there's smokes there. Like how are we dying? Then we found out from like one of our source friends that. You know, it's just a one-way smoke where he can see you and you can't see him. That's still bullshit, and that still exists in this game. Like one-way smokes still, they're harder. They used to be able to do them like way more spots, but like that's still bullshit in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
the smoke's not supposed to work like that.
Yeah, I
like,
remember you used to be able to just like throw a one-way smoke and peek, or you just throw a smoke down and just like peek in the side of it. It's like, oh, here's a one-way smoke. Like you could come up with a one-way smoke on every single spot on the map. It felt
Yep.
like.
There used to be
And-
that bug too with you could look down, like look straight down.
Yeah,
and
and see under.
smoke
Yeah.
or whatever.
I remember
Oh,
you used
yeah.
to be able to
That
do
was
that
really
in
dumb
B
as
halls
well.
on Mirage. Like you would like just be crouching down, staring at the ground, and you could just see people's feet walking around on the platform and just look up and shoot them. That was so fucking stupid.
I just think Valve doesn't know how to like make things always perfect. You know what I mean? Like they almost fix the smokes. Like the smokes are the best they've probably ever been, right? I
Yeah.
think we probably all agree
Yeah,
with
no,
that.
yeah, that's
Like
for sure. Yeah.
they're the most balanced so far, but there's still one-way smokes. There's still some like that red dot thing at the last half second. I don't think that should be there. I
don't think so
think
either.
the red dot should appear. Like I think like I die so much because I play with my monitor so close that like it's like annoying to be like look up at the radar, look back.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Yeah, well, for me too, like I'm on native, so everything is all really like far spread. So like when I look up at my kill feed or look up at my radar, like I really do have to look across the screen like a lot, and it's not
Yeah.
very big. All right, so moving on from that, what do you guys think of the major so far and Navi going 1-3?
Are you talking
Also,
about how Fnatic is about to beat G2?
are they about to beat G2? I only have two
seen
monitors,
that,
and
yeah.
one has all the OBS stuff on it, and one has Skype up, so I
It's
can't see
15-10
anything.
right now, which is crazy because like Fnatic, I feel like I don't know, they beat Navi and fucking G2. Both teams
Yeah.
I think are ranked higher than they are.
Well,
Not sure.
how about Gambit and Big going 3-0 too? Like, who the hell would have predicted that? Like, did anyone predict that here?
Not big, but
Even
Gambit.
Gambit?
I think
Gambit's
Gambit's
pretty good.
Yeah, but would you have predicted Gambit to go 3-0 though?
No, I don't.
Right? Like,
Maybe
Obviously not,
yeah.
right?
yeah.
Obviously
I
not
wouldn't.
Yo, but
Yeah.
Fnatic won.
All right. I'm worried VP is gonna lose, man.
don't
Honestly,
know.
majors are a completely different beast. Like
They are.
anybody could even now in CS, just CS in general right now, anyone in the top 15 could just win.
I'm
like,
still kind of sick of majors being BO1 though. Even though it's Swiss, whatever. I'm still sick of it being BO1.
No, I agree. I think
This
I think
BO3
that-
phase wouldn't be out right now.
right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's what I'm saying. Anyone can win in general, like especially if it's BO1s. Like anybody can win.
Well,
I don't
FaZe
know
might
if
have
you
been
guys
out. Kerrigan and Keo played like
It's no excuse,
really
obviously,
bad.
to go 0-3. Like, there's no excuse to go 0-3 like FaZe did. They played bad, but
Yeah.
it still like doesn't. I think that you don't get like the true.
In BO3, you give Nico time to warm up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I feel like you see like the teams in map pool and stuff when it's a BO3 and a BO1, it just comes down to one map and like
Yeah.
you could win both pistols and like first gun or something, or like you go the other team and it just like it's just you lose the game
Yeah.
or stuff like
How do you guys feel about this? Like, from a player's perspective, is like watching it, you won't know this as much as playing. But for me, going to events that are smaller, like a Gfinity, a DreamHack, something like that, I feel like some of these more skill-based teams thrive in that environment because they're like, well, this is just a DreamHack. First place is like 50, maybe 80K or something.
Yeah.
They don't take it as seriously, right? As like maybe an
There's not as much
ESEA
pressure.
or a major, especially a major. So like the more skill-based lineups kind of thrive in those smaller, still big, but smaller tournaments. Whereas I feel like the really tactical teams, like we're seeing Big, Gambit, Australis, like the teams with solid in-game leaders, fundamentals, and tactics seem to do a lot better under like the big pressure tournaments, because they don't rely on people to make big plays as much, right?
Yeah.
Like it's more like I think we're seeing more use out of like Zeus. Like I feel like if Zeus was on Navi wouuld be out right
No,
now.
for
You
sure.
know what I mean?
I've
Like,
Well,
said this
that,
for 3
like,
months.
Did you
I don't
hear
know,
what
just-
Neo said about Gambit's practice and how Gambit is almost getting thrown out of the European like pro scrim scheduling group or
I heard
whatever
like they troll or
because
whatever.
they show up late, which is like normal in North America, so that's not even a big deal for us. But
No,
but
it's 20 minutes late
oh,
minimum. Every time.
always at least 10 minutes late at least. And yeah, he said that they always show up late, and when they're in there, they don't even practice anything. Like they just like troll and screw around and do whatever. But then they come to these events and they look like a really tactical, fucking solid team. Like I'm wondering, and he said that, and then I'm watching this and I'm like, who the fuck are they practicing against then? Or is this really just like Zeus is just a god at mid rounding? Like
You know what they might be doing is they might be doing this thing where when they play really good teams,
yeah,
they just play like idiots and they just record demos, POVs or something, and then they just see how they play, gather the info, and then when they play the lesser teams, the teams they're not going to
Practice
think
their
are going to be at the
strats.
big, they practice their strats, they take it real serious.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
maybe
one hell
they're
of a
just
conspiracy.
it is a conspiracy, but it makes sense though because like it's crazy how good they are once they get to these events. But according to quite a few top European teams, they like refuse to practice against them. So it's like it's an interesting thing.
I wonder if they feel bad though because maybe Adren and that Mao guy have real bad ping too. Because I know
yeah,
they
maybe.
play maybe with like 100, 120 ping sometimes, and I mean.
Have they not moved to Russia yet? Is that not a thing that's
I
going
thought
to
they
happen?
did move.
I thought they did too. I'm not sure.
I think Adren is in Russia.
Recently, yeah, maybe, but I even know for the premier's sort of the premier, he was I think he had bad ping, right?
He might have.
I'm
not sure.
I could be wrong.
I didn't watch a whole lot of.
And when I
EU
watch
Premier.
some of Oscar's stream and shit, sometimes this dude has like fucking 5 loss, and he's just playing. I'm just like, I don't know, just weird.
Yeah.
But that guy's a god, so whatever.
Well, yeah, Mouse is out now though, aren't they? Who just eliminated Mouse today?
I was lost to C9.
Was it C9? Yeah. And now, what? C9
Automatic
plays
one
VP.
ham.
Dude, Tim's so good lately, man. Well, for the last.
Well, the thing
like,
is that you
however
guys got to
long,
realize
he's
is
been nuts
Tim
lately.
wrestled in high school, so and you know when you got that threat, you know, it was in the back of your head.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about some TSM house stories with you guys.
Oh, I've heard so many from so many different of you, like so many like different people.
Yeah.
I've heard some from
Okay.
Skylar. I've heard some from Finesse. I've heard some from Corey. I've heard some from Twist. Give us some juicy ones.
Let's just say, I mean, if you've heard all of them, there's no point.
I have no. It's not about. It's not
I
about
want
us.
the reaction.
Yeah.
Like I want to know the first one. I want to know is the lasagna.
This is
one.
gonna. Okay, this is no. Wait, before that, this is the funny one. This is like the really funny one. Corey, do you remember when we were at the Loggia? I don't know if Russ is gonna take
Save the
this
funniest one
personally.
for last, though. If you're gonna say one.
Well, I don't know if there's a funny. It's just relax.
No,
dude.
just
There's
so-
one. I'll tell it later, but go.
Okay, so do you remember when like Russ when we were at the Loggia office, and this is when Russ first joined our team? I don't want to. The thing I don't want this to like turn into like a political like oh my god.
Keep in mind he's like 16. You know, he's young.
Yeah, he's a young kid, whatever. Right? I don't blame him for any of this. There's no bad blood. Whatever. Like, let's just clear that up right now. Russ, if you're watching this, you take this shit personally. Whatever. I don't really care. Anyways, so this is just like funny looking back because like of how badly we handled situations. So we're at the office. We're at the Loggia office. That's where we practice. So all of us are there. We're playing, I think, CLG in the EC, like to. It was like, do you know like what ECS used to be like top 6? It was like top 6.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, like top 2 make it through or whatever, and then the like 2 to like 3 to 6 just battle it out for. Yeah. So we were playing CLG in that, and 3 rounds in, Russ just says, "I don't want to play anymore." In a match, he's like, "I don't want to play anymore," and we're like, "Wait." I look at him, and Corey's like, "Are you serious?" And he's just so sad. He's just sitting there like, dude, like I don't want to play anymore. And like the whole reason for it is because like Tim and Russ just didn't get along. They just They did not get along. That's like me putting it lightly. Like
it's very lightly. That's as light as you can go.
Yeah, like that's as lightly as I can put it. It's like I don't want to get more in depth than that because it'll turn into like calling people out and like talking about personal shit that happened. But let's just say Tim and Russ did not get along at all.
And,
not even a little.
You know all these people that are like on the forums like you got to work through your problems.
No, this is not a problem. This was not a problem you could work through. This was just animosity between one another. Like they just did not. They had no fun.
It started late, it's just slowly getting worse and worse. These two hated each other.
Did not like each other, not one bit. So in game, out of game, it did not matter. It was just they just didn't get along right from the start, and so
and
it
you're
just
living
was
together, so that doesn't.
Right. So like obviously like it stemmed from that. Like Tim and Russ like didn't get along, therefore like Russ just didn't want to play anymore. Like he just felt like nobody on the team was on his side, right? And he just didn't want to play. And so this guy had to like get a talk from Derek, who at the time was our manager. Derek, Energy's Derek right now, Impulsive. He was like,
Valens rang.
Oh yeah, and Soham had to
matches.
Dude, like that's the craziest thing.
And we almost won. We almost won with Valens.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
sure.
No, I remember when all that was going down.
That was the CLG with like PETA and like
Ugly
and like we almost beat them or whatever. But it was just like crazy because like he just stopped playing. He's just like I don't want to play anymore. Like I've never seen someone break down like that before. I felt really bad because I was like, "Fuck, like that sucks."
I remember when all that happened because when the first part of that happened, Russ hit me up, and well, like I was talking to Russ, and we were gonna buy him on Splice from TSM. He's like, I don't want to play here anymore. I can't stand being here. I want to leave. Buy me out. Get me out of here, right? So we were gonna buy Twist out, and then like 2 days later, Derek comes back and is like, yeah, Russ doesn't want to leave anymore. I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. Like I talked to him for quite a bit 2 days ago.
Yeah,
He
he's like, you just did a
definitely
promo.
wanted to leave. Like,
He wanted to leave, but we didn't want to let him leave yet.
well,
kind
obviously
of.
not.
Like, it was
Yeah.
like one of those things where you know he's good. Like for me, I was trying to talk to Automatic, and I was like, I know like you hate him, but like he's young. Like I feel like people don't understand like he's like very, you know, like it's a young person. Like everyone's an idiot when they're 16, right? Like I think for me, I mean maybe I'm wrong. I feel like I trolled him maybe the least out of anyone. Like I don't feel like I was that mean to Russ. Like overall, but like at the same time I was being like for me I wanted to keep Russ because I knew he's so young and he's talented, and like in a year or two he's gonna be really fucking insane. You can see him on Liquid, he's really good, right? Like I
Yeah.
mean he's putting up numbers. Maybe he needs to be a little bit more integrated and like not being
No,
so
he's definitely
passive.
good right now.
But that's his only weakness really, is maybe being a little bit too passive sometimes. But
It was just like the fact that Russ is very triggered Tim a lot. Like
yeah,
like that. Right from the start of the team, as soon as Russ said a word, Tim was upset for the entire day. Tim just did not like it. Like
Yeah.
they just did, it was like not. It was just two humans that should never be on a team together, and I don't think we'll ever be on a team together. Just put together, it just sucked. Like
do you
it's like
remember
me
what
being on a
happened?
team with Davey. I can't do it.
Do you remember
Finesse,
what
you've been
happened right
begging to
after?
be on a team with me for
Yeah, well,
years.
What's that?
Do you remember what happened right after though? We got Twist to play again,
And then we won.
and then we beat Optic.
Yeah, we beat Optic. We won,
Yeah,
and then we went to
pretty
ECS,
sure.
got top 4. We
Yeah.
thought we were sick.
I believe it was third map cash. We got 12-3'd, and then we 13-0'd them.
Yeah.
To
I remember
qualify.
that game. I remember that game.
But if you
That
want to
was
like know about TSM, it was just a shit show of a lineup when it came to like just the different parts of the year. Like everyone was a problem at different points, but when we picked up like Hunter, do you remember at the start when we picked up Hunter and like you couldn't say anything to him, you couldn't criticize somebody, make the worst plays, and he just was like, it's just I should have killed like 5. Like, that's what it, every time. I should have killed 5.
Yeah, that's all we
It'd be
should
like-
have killed. Like,
Yeah, like Hunter would like die in like middle of lower ramp playing inner, and then we'd be
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing?" Someone would be like, "What are you doing, Hunter?" Like, I should have really just killed 3 of them there. So it's
I missed 4 easy headshots.
Yeah.
It was,
So that
he,
was
he
our
got
team.
better. Though. He definitely got better.
No, yeah. Everyone on like since then has like gotten better. Obviously, it's just like I just don't think that lineup was ever meant to be consistent in CS.
No, yeah. I mean, I feel like it was very hard because when Soham first was on the team, we had Soham calling as our in-game leader, so we just had 5 fraggers, right? But then obviously we kind of got lucky that we switched it because eventually callers couldn't call, but we couldn't do slow strats on that team. Like people would just die across the map, right? Like FNS, you probably remember, like people just get picked like flies, and it was like, well, Soham wanted to do like his set execute because that's Soham's style, right? He wants to do like, use all the nades and everything, and yeah. So
I just
don't
thought
know.
of a story, dude. It's like one time we were in practice and we all were in the server. Soham's like, "All right, guys, did you watch this video?" And Corey's like, "What are you talking about?" or something. And Soham got mad at Corey. Corey's like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving." And he just left. Corey just left frack. Dude, it was the funniest shit in the world. I was like, okay, I guess we don't have frack anymore.
Yeah.
We all just went our separate ways. It was so fucking funny, dude.
It was
Because like
it was
Soham
a-
told Corey to like watch a video or something, and like Corey was apparently supposed to watch it like earlier. And so when Corey
No,
asked
no.
the question, it
It-
triggered Soham or something.
Yeah, he got really mad and like yelled at me, but I had watched it actually. I would the thing is he didn't understand. I meant like which video he was referring to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like because there was like a couple different ones, and then he was like mad at me, and I was like, whatever, man.
And
Like,
Soham never reacts like
yeah,
mad like normally.
it was all right though. I
There
mean,
he just raged at Corey. Corey's like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I don't need this."
Dude, that reminds me. One time, when we were playing, and this is when we were playing with like Professor Chaos. Damon, you know Andrew pretty well, and he was like supposed to have like this like he was hanging out with his girlfriend. He was supposed to have this date night, but we scheduled scrims against, at the time they were Tempo Storm, like the Immortals, like the old lineup. I'm pretty sure they were Tempo Storm at the time, and we scheduled scrims against them, and we get in and we're like 8 rounds in, we're losing 8-0. They're just like running around, just shitting on us, and Andrew literally doesn't say a fucking word, just disconnects from the server, disconnects from TeamSpeak, goes offline on Steam, and just leaves. He's like, "Fuck this! I'm not wasting my time playing against these guys when I could be doing something else. I'm out of here."
I think like a couple people on my team have done that. Like
Yeah.
Jordan's fallen asleep in his chair. That was on T9. Literally, I'm not even kidding. We were playing a scrim on Dust too. It could have even been versus CLG or something. We're about to go live. We're literally all there. We're like, everyone there? Yeah, ready. All of us say yeah. We live it. Jordan, you there? Jordan. Just apparently fell asleep. And I was, for like 3
I
hours.
just imagine his reaction. Yo, guys, fuck, my bad. Like,
He came back,
passed
"Oh,
out.
man, I'm just passed out on my chair," and I was like, how is that even possible?
I've heard the funniest Jordan stories, dude. I've heard like this guy missed every nade and shit, or he would just like guess his nades.
Yeah. There was a time when Jordan told me that that you could just kind of do it off of feeling in the game. And I was like, no, you not in this game. Like, you need set lineups in this game. Like, even on the old Inferno, like, when you smoke spawn, like, you still throwing a set one is still better, just so there's not like a
Jordan
weird.
just wing
Yeah.
smokes.
I got this smoke, guys. Just completely missed.
Man.
That happened to us at the boot camp though. Like we boot camped in Europe for 2-3 days, and our
Like,
last
you talked about how useless
our
that
last
was, by the
BO
way?
no, our last BO2 was against Vegas Squadron, and we're just scrimming them, and I don't know if they have like the Gambit strategy where they just don't do anything in practice. They're just like we're CT side Inferno. They're just rushing banana through 2 mollies with auto shotties. Like I
What
just
the fuck?
and Pete just leaves. Pete
Yeah.
just left the server. We're not even playing the second map. I'm like, I don't know if that's like a CIS strategy. Like I don't know if Flipside does that too, or you just like troll in scrims or something. But
No, it's definitely like annoying though when you're trying to take a scrim serious and like people are literally like there's difference of
Davey's
like
just baiting. Yeah, I know.
there's difference of people like pushing through a smoke and killing you or like doing like things that could actually work. But when some dude's got like a fucking sawed off on like T side nuke like running outside, you're like, why am I even playing this? Like,
Yeah.
what's the point? It's just a waste.
Sometimes
of
when
time.
you play SK gaming though, like because they're so dominant, it just feels like they're scrimming you.
Yeah.
Still playing normally.
Phelps will be 30-6 in one half, and in a scrim, and you're just like, what happened? In ladder, you know where he is. He's ladder room, and he just owns your team. 3 mollies hit him. He doesn't give a fuck. He's staying there. He just owns it. It's like,
Just in the tiny little crack,
Yeah.
killing. Like,
Yeah, no, there
4
was
people.
there was one time we were scrimming against them, and like you said, this is on train. He's in ladder. We throw the fucking gob B mollies, right? We got under ladder mollied, outside of ladder mollied. He stands in the fire, kills 3 of us running out T-Con.
No, yeah,
Like, all
really
3 of the
doesn't give a
people running out T-Con die. I'm just like, oh, fucking sweet. Like, good job, guys.
Dude, I actually think it's harder to play Immortals in the scrims sometimes.
It is.
Like,
It is.
Like
They're so hard to
SK,
play against.
I don't know. I've had decent success in scrims. I'm not saying we like slaughter SK. Obviously, we don't. But like, it
Oh, yeah.
feels closer, at least to me. The Immortal, sometimes you just get like 25-5, and you're just like, well, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, they just run.
and the
through
rounds
smokes.
end in 30 seconds too. It's not
Yeah.
like you get to play out the round. It's like
Yeah.
Henny's gotten 3 early. Like
Yeah,
he's walled you through 3 walls.
Henny's out mid
Leaving
on
spawn
train.
with 10 health.
Both your Ivy guys are dead. Bolts is in spawn somehow already, and, like, just dead. And you're like,
Yeah.
Well, and you can't even you're not even mad because they do that shit in real games. Like they're
Oh,
the
yeah.
one team that like you watch them play an actual match and like they will still do that same shit.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you play some teams and they do that to you, you just like you want to be like
Renegades?
I don't know if I was on TSM, if I was on
not
CLG.
trying to name names, but renegades.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard, dude. I don't know if I was on TSM or CLG, but like I remember one time Furz just kept pushing A halls with an MP9 and
I was on
Mirage.
TSM.
When I was, and I was like, are you gonna do this when it matters? And yeah,
No,
Yeah.
Evidence asked him if he was gonna do it the major, and then he did.
yeah.
Every
And I'm like, oh, true, okay.
statement retracted. Oh man.
Insane.
No, I wanted the one TSM story I wanted to hear from Corey's point of view is the lasagna story.
Lasagna.
Like
Yeah.
apparently you just like put this plate with like a full thing of lasagna in the
Dude, the
dishwasher.
best part was how mad. The best part was how mad Skylar was. That was the best part about all of
I
it.
didn't even eat the lasagna.
Oh, then maybe it wasn't you that put it in. Someone put in the
I didn't even
lasagna.
use the dishwasher in that house, and never once did I even use it.
Okay, well then
I
maybe.
literally I had my 2 bowls and my plate, and I would just rinse them. In
Oh,
the
we
sink.
assumed it was you because no one admitted that it was them. Like no one
Oh.
said it was them.
No,
Maybe it
yeah,
was
that-
Russ's
that-
mom actually. But anyways, do you remember? Do you remember?
That's funny you thought it was me, but I never used that.
We all assumed it was you. But like no. But the best part is like it was. Do you remember that like cake thing that Russ's mom made for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. So we assumed it was you because you like we thought you had some and then just put it in the fucking dishwasher, but it molded in the dishwasher and proceeded to like there were just. Do you remember those like eggs
dude,
that
there
were on
was-
our ceiling because of it? That was because of that. And there were like eggs. There was literally wildlife in our kitchen. Wildlife.
Full of like larvae and shit.
Yeah,
like,
literally wildlife was growing in our kitchen. We didn't know what the fuck was going on, and we just all left the house.
dude, that house is such a like the house is alright, but like, dude, when Derek asked me to go there, man, he promised me the world. He's like, yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not made. He told I literally like people can get mad at me for being messy all they want. All right, I take no blame for it. You want to know why? Because Derek said, I said to Derek, I said, when I come to this house, I'm a messy human being. I'm not magically going to be super clean. I live by myself right now. I do whatever the fuck I want. I prefer it this way. He goes, no, don't worry. We're going to have like a maid like every 2 weeks come and clean and take care of you guys. And I was like, all right, well then we'll be fine. If we got a maid, I'm not that messy. You know, like I'm not messy enough that in 2 weeks you're going to like be
Yeah.
crying about it. It's just like, I'm not even that messy in general. It's just the kitchen I fuck up. I fuck up the kitchen all the time. But like, but everything else is pretty good. And yeah, then we had no maid ever. I think we had a maid like once or twice in like a year. Like
It was like at the start. It was like at the start.
Yeah.
We had a maid for a bit, and then it never came ever.
yeah,
again.
we had a
Never-
maid when we had nothing in the house. We didn't have no chairs, no tables, nothing to eat on. You know, our room had a DX racer and a fucking table. All right, we had nothing in this house. You could not eat anywhere but your room. Unless you wanted to stand there in the hallway and just eat your food. For like 6 months, we had nothing in this fucking house. And then they bought us beds, and I'm pretty sure they went on like some budget website to buy mattresses used from like a homeless shelter. Because I could feel the springs in my back. I could feel them like I'd lie down and like the springs just poke me. And I'm like, what is this? I was like, sleep is very important for gamers. So then they got me a foam thing, which was much better. But I was like, what is this shit? Like, you promised me that we're gonna have all this shit, and like, Derek, I love Derek, but when Derek would go on websites to buy things from like Amazon, his cursor would automatically just go to the cheapest price. Like anything, like you look at like a blender, it was just like natural for him. Like the cursor just boom, $9.99 right there. So this one's good. like like we had the cheapest everything. I'm like, I understand it's like not like it's not like your own like shit, but the problem was like for me it's like, do I want to buy a bunch of stuff from a house I don't permanently live in and then have double of everything? You know what I mean? Like, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to buy like all this nice stuff for 2 places, like your
That's
home
what I did.
and your I don't know.
Like because there was like, well, the similar thing happened at Splice, but to their credit, they did try to get us a maid. The maids would just never show up. Like you would like call them and they'd be like, yeah, the maid's coming today at 3, and you just wait, and they would just never show up. And then you'd get a text. They'd be like, oh yeah, sorry, the maid's family member was in the hospital, so she couldn't come. Or like, oh sorry, this one like got in a car accident on the way there. Like it happened like 4 times. They just didn't show up. I think eventually we got one. And I think she only came one time and then just never came back. So like it was just the word. Like we just never get it.
I forgot about this, so I'll tell you this story. FNS remember this. So we got a house manager like, I don't know, 5 or 6 months in. Mike, nice guy, made the house way better. All right, everything he did was a positive. Greatest thing TSM did for us was get us Mike, probably. FNS knows Mike, right? He's a cool guy, right? Like, all right, so he had a truck, right? Now this truck held maximum 3 people inside. Okay, barely. All right, and to go to the Logitech office, we'd have 3 people in the back of a pickup truck, all right? And 3 people in the front, and we drive there. And keep in mind, we lived in like a residential school area, right? So there's like speed bumps every 2 feet. There's a speed bump. So you're in the back, oof, 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 like all the way to the office. And one time on the way back, I'm like, man, you guys can't do this forever. Like, we're gonna get fucking caught. Like, we're gonna get caught by the police. Like, and we're going home, and there comes a cruiser come fly back, and you just see them, everyone like ducking, like hiding in the back as like a cop just comes by us, like we're like fucking rebels or some shit. Like, I don't know. We did that every day. Like,
Yep.
It's insane.
And then one day Corey just snapped. He's like, I'm not going to the office today. Dude, it was so funny, fucking, cause like we'd have to go like NVIDIA offices sometimes, cause like I don't know. Dude, Corey, do you remember when like the League of Legends team just took over our room? We had no idea till we got there.
We just show up to Logitech office. Just they're all on our PCs.
Yes,
all our gaming
but
shit's
not
fucking
TSM League
like-
team, Cloud9.
Yeah.
With Jack behind them. Just sorry guys, we thought you knew. No.
And
And all our gear is in a box.
Yeah, they lost my
Back in the
mouse.
pickup
It
truck.
was just gone. My mouse was just gone. I think new one. I was like, all right. Not that it matters. Not like they don't have like 100,000.
Yeah.
Like, what we need, but like still, it was just like I don't know.
One thing I'll say though, like from TSM is like we got like boatloads of whatever we asked for. Like if we asked for like I'm talking about like merchandise. We got like mice. If we asked Logitech because we were at their offices, they would just give us every mouse we wanted. Or like when we like they would give us anything, and then like I remember when we like TSM. This took a while, but like TSM ended up giving like all of us so many shirts, dude. Like fuck, I still have so many TSM shirts. It's
Dude, to
insane.
say my closet is like full of them.
Yeah.
Like
We had
I know.
so-
I mean, it was not like they're a bad org or anything. I just
Yeah.
think like I just don't think they handled the house situation like totally right. Or if that's how they wanted it to be handled, they didn't like convey that to me or at all. So
And then at the end, me and Corey both got replaced because they listened to a bunch of little kids. That's literally
Yeah.
what happened. They
And then
gave
they lost
power to a 16-year-old, an 18-year-old. Well, he was 17 at the time, I guess, and a 20-year-old. Okay, sure. That being said, I had a really bad like
No,
year at
being replaced on TSM was the best part of my life. I was like, I get to go home, and I was just so happy that I
that
did
was
not
sick
have to go
for
back to
me.
the house, man. Like, I don't know if the CLG house is probably better, but like, dude, I got home, I just felt like I was depressed. Like, I got home and I was like happy again. Like, I feel like I'm happier in practice with like Splice and shit. Like, I'm not like just so like depressed all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I lacked a lot of motivation, like just in like playing the game in TSM, just because like I don't know how to explain
A lot
it.
of like inner team feuds. Like there was a
Yeah,
lot of
it
people
was
that
just
didn't like
like
each other, or like didn't respect one another, or like were annoying just in general. So,
someone
like, it's like
always wanted to replace someone else the whole time, and then out of the players wanting to replace him, I have fucking Derek wanting to replace other people the whole time also. So you got like 3 different like roster changes happening, just spiraling around like the whole time. It's
Derek
just
is
like
funny, dude. Derek
like
has no other solution. He's like, who are we getting rid of?
yeah,
Who's got to go here? That's all Derek does. He just tries to replace people. You lose
Like-
one match, you're fucking freaking out, messaging everybody.
oh man,
Derek's a little weasel, dude. I like him, but he's a fucking little weasel. I'll give you that. I'll tell you straight up.
yeah. Anyways,
Derek,
that
I've had only good experiences with Derek so far.
Yeah,
so.
until you get replaced. You'll see what happens. If you ever get replaced, you will not see this bitch coming. He'll hit you. It'll be blindsided as fuck. Like I saw mine.
3
coming,
euros just
performing.
coming.
Yeah, Finesse, I was about to say, you saw yours coming a mile away.
Oh,
You
no,
were
I
talking
did
about it like a month
No,
before
I
it
did
happened.
because I genuinely felt like I deserved it. Like I wasn't playing well on the team. Like in general, it was just not a good time. So like I was like, you know what? Like I'll leave. You don't have to replace me. But like, and at the end of the day, like me and Corey both got replaced. And I was like, you know what? That's acceptable. Like I understand. So I'm not saying they made a bad decision doing it, and it was good for both, like me and them. But it was like, yeah, I don't think that lineup could ever be formed ever. Like that should
No.
never, not even in a rank guess, it shouldn't be formed. It just shouldn't happen. That was just a lineup with like a ticking time bomb, where like we could maybe would do well at like 1 event or 2 events a year, but we would never be consistent because people just right from start to finish, there were always, like Corey said, people who hated each other. Hated, not disliked. Hated.
yeah, and then you got like Sick, Twist, and Tim all wanting to be stars at the same time too. Like whether they want to admit it or not, I mean it's the truth, right? Like so it's like pretty much like if me or FNS weren't doing like some of the fucking smokes and dirty work, I'll give Tim a ton of credit. Tim knows like a ton of nades, you know, like he knows like every nade in the game. So it's not like he wouldn't throw nades or anything. But I just mean like if you needed someone to do like complete support shit, it's gonna be like me opping or FNS, like pretty much like that's just how the team worked. It was just like I was like a support opper, and then FNS had to run in first and get baited. Or if FNS was dead, I had to charge in first with my op and
I
just
remember
die.
that.
So,
I
like,
remember scrimming against you guys and being like, "Why is Corey running out before everyone else?"
'Cause they
Like I
would
remember
know,
it would happen
like, they
all the
don't
time.
understand, like-
It would
like, it
happen
was
all the
basic
time. We'd be
shit.
like I remember. I think I messaged you after a scrim one time. I was like, "Dude, is this like part of your strat, or is it like is this just how it's happening?"
Especially when we picked up Skylar, that was the worst. And I'm not saying Skylar's a bad player, but he's naturally a baiter, just like Davey and just like Russ. Like naturally, they are players that don't want to run in first. They're second, third players. Like they're not bad. That doesn't mean you're a bad player. That just means that's who you are. That's just like you just don't like running in first, and like you need to have info before you go for a kill, which is fine. So I took the role of going in first. But the worst part was when Skylar joined. Skylar is the type of player where you go in front of him, he will like if you go in, like behind him, he'll go behind you. Like even if you end up in spawn, it's fine. So on Cash, it's the best example I could give. Like you know how like you execute A, you smoke highway, and you run into the bomb site, you get a flash and thrown in for you, right? There was no support flashes being thrown for me ever at any point in my career in CSM. Like maybe if we've gone over this strat, like that happens, but like because like we went over so little, because we had so many changes happening, like Russ couldn't play at E League and shit, so we just had like random roster changes. People just didn't flash.
And we switched callers, so then you
Yeah.
scrap like what we
Yeah.
you did have, and it was just like
And like so I would just run into a rifler, do 0 damage, and just die. And I'm just like, wow, like this is not fun for me. Cobble, I run out broken wall with flashes that went over like after I'm dead. And shit. Like it was fun. And then like just
like
not
with
fun entering.
Tim on Cash, at least like Tim, you and Sick would kind of be like
Yeah.
close together entering the site, and I would usually throw the gay spot, like the fence flash, so like you could kind of run in, you know what I mean? But Tim was really aggressive. Tim is a baiter, but he goes in when he needs to go in. So
No, Tim
like-
always played for the team, I felt. Whereas like
Yeah.
Hunter was like trying to prove something. Or like Twist was trying to prove something. So like they wouldn't help sometimes. They would just
when-
hold angles.
like when we got Skylar, like for some reason people just started baiting more, and like on Cash, everyone knows the opper is the guy who's supposed to go to forklift, right? Like just like that's where he goes. Everyone knows that shit, right?
Yeah.
Everyone goes site side, opper goes forklift. I'd run in and there'd just be a dude in the corner, and I'd be like, oh shit, and I'd be just getting shot from truck and die, and this dude just baiting in a corner. I'm like, no, you don't go there, you go on the fucking site. And it didn't matter how many times we told people things, like it was just like, I don't know. It was just a waste
Did you
of time.
try Skylar as an entry fragger for a bit?
No, he actually opted for a bit. He was a fake
I
Oh
remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, it was the op.
If Skylar ever entered for any team ever, you'd run out of time every time. He would not get the bomb down once. And I'd tell him that. Like, I think Skylar has really good aim. I just straight up thinks he has really good aim. He's just naturally a baiter. And, like, that's fine. If you're naturally a baiter, you just need to be put into that role. But we just had, like, too many lurkers on our team.
Yeah, you're not
And,
gonna
like-
have Cold Zero entry. It's not
No,
like a
you're just
diss to
well
the
when
player. It's
when
just
Cold
like-
Zera first came over though, when he was playing with LG, he was their entry. I don't know if you remember. I remember playing against them at Winout LAN, and we were playing against them on Inferno, and this guy was he was
The only time
entering
I beat
every
them in
sait.
BO3.
Yeah, I remember that
Good
too.
time.
And,
And
and
then
that
he
was a crazy
realized-
BO3 too, where you beat them like 16-2, and then they beat you like
Oh, that was the good old
16-1.
days where
and
I
then you beat
shit-talked
them.
them, dude.
Yeah,
I was shit talking so
I remember.
much, dude, because they could hear me.
yeah,
They
you
were,
guys were
remember when,
sitting
like, they
back to
had-
back. Yeah,
They had like immortals like cheering for them and shit when they were Games
Mhm.
Academy, and they were like
Yep.
cheer every round they won. So I was like, you guys fucking suck and shit every time we won a round. And then, eventually won the game, and then they just got good, really
Yeah.
good.
yeah,
They
they just do that. I remember we played against Games Academy at that event too, and we beat them like 16-5, 16-3. We were like, dude, these guys are shit. Like, what are they doing here? Like,
They
these guys are
improved so
garbage.
much.
And then like 6 months later, they're like just way better than us.
No, Fallen activated his team and
and the
single-handedly activated all of Brazil.
Yeah,
Like,
he
Fallen
activated
is
an
like the
entire
reason like Brazil's on the map.
Yeah.
It was
Fallen
what was it you said,
activates
Finesse?
everyone.
It's like Fallen could
He-
run for
Yeah,
president.
he could
and
literally
just
run
win.
for office, like Pablo Escobar status, and win. Like we would win, 100%. He would.
Maybe he should. Maybe he should just run for president of Brazil.
He
Do
should
they have a
definitely
president?
should.
Do
I
they have a
think
prime minister? I don't know, but he should do it, whatever one it is.
He'll win, whatever it is. Yeah.
He just activates the country.
I feel like that team has won like all their matches just because one player just gets 40 kills every game. Like they haven't
They're
even
so
like.
good at like they're synced, like they're so synced. It's insane.
No, they really are.
They
It's
don't even look that tactical. They're just
No.
really good at like mid round CS. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's like the old Fnatic. They're just really good at mid round.
well, and Cold Zera put up the craziest fucking numbers you're ever gonna see at this major. Like his group stage numbers are fucking ridiculous. In like form, someone can look. I can't look it up right now, but one of you should look it
He
up
had
right now.
98 kills in 3
Oh, Corey,
maps.
it's Trey.
Yeah,
Cloud
98
Yeah.
kills in how many maps?
I think VP in 3 maps he had 98 kills.
I think. Well, they've played a fourth map now. I don't know what he did
Yo,
on the
Corey, do you
last
remember
one.
Oh
the-
yeah,
like,
I
when
was
we
just
were on-
saying like
when we were on
in the
TSM and Flamey was like owning SK. Do you remember that? Like, while Flamey would just like
Yes.
have so many kills with SK.
Flamely single-handedly kept the Brazilian
Yeah.
scene down for 6 months. Like
Yeah,
they would have been like they would have been in the finals and like making like tournament wins earlier, but Flamey would go like plus 50 like in a best of 3. Like literally he would like the next guy on his team would be like plus 8 and he'd just standing there like 98 and like 60 and you're like okay. Like I don't know how.
Yeah.
That shit was the most insane thing I've ever seen was like him versus like SK and Immortals and
Yeah.
stuff. I forgot about that. He was so good.
Like he would literally have so many kills, dude, versus them. And like it would be all impact. Like it was so
He's-
impressive.
He's such a unique player, dude. Like
And now,
especially on
though,
CT side.
it sucks. Like 'cause they're not like that anymore. He's
Yeah.
not like that.
Well, he
I think
plays.
needs Zeus, man. Like he needs to be set up.
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like people underrate the amount like in-game leaders actually do when they're like committed to like making the team better and like they just commit to that role. It's just the effort that like in-game leaders put in to like make sure their players are doing well.
Because a lot of time it might not even be necessarily like you're making a ton of effort for him, but you'll play a spot he doesn't want to play, or like you'll set him up with a couple flashbangs, or like if there's a weird situation, you might run in first and die so he can like get the trade. Whereas like when you have a team with like Simple, Flamey, you know, like I mean Simple's a fucking god. He might go in first and just kill everyone, but like generally like Flamey's probably not in the same system as Zeus. Because remember how slow they play with Zeus? It was just like
Yeah.
hold for like a minute-ish. Maybe
They play
take
slow
maybe
now, but they're
back control.
predictable as fuck. Like teams are
Yeah.
always stacked wherever they go.
It's like if you look at Gambit would be the same play style that Navi would be playing, you know, if Zeus never left. And
And the thing is,
you
Zeus
could-
entries, which gives Flamey like
Yeah.
the opportunity to get the kills, but sometimes Flamey's in entry positions when he's not that type of player, or like at least I don't think he is. And like it just
I think
don't
he's
know.
like a great second, third guy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I don't think Flamey's gonna miss a trade. You know,
Yeah.
like as soon as unless the guy's hitting crazy
Rarely.
shots. Like,
Yeah.
like
like
he's like
he-
gonna get the next 2 or 3 kills. I feel
Because
like.
Flamey has, I think, some of the best aim in the entire scene. Like top 3. Like
Yeah.
he is
raw
insanely.
aim, there's
Yeah.
like not many better.
No. Not very
Maybe
many.
Nico or something, but
Yeah.
like Nico's Nico.
Corey, if you got an offer to join C9 right now, but you only got 2.5 thousand, like 2,500 a month, would you do it?
So I mean, I guess he'd probably make more from like, the
And-
majors and
And,
stuff.
Yeah, you
and
would.
you'd have to in-game lead.
In game lead. Who am I replacing though?
I guess Jordan or Shroud, because like the other 3, like it's hard to replace any of the other 3.
Yeah, sure. I think I'd want to replace Jordan because then we'd have 4 S's. And then we'd look at that. That would be so sick. 4 S's. Then Tim would have to change his name. We'd be set.
And into prefix. Remember that shit, dude?
No, I forgot. I remember it, but I totally forgot. Like Tim legitimately tried to change his name to Prefix at one, and then he was just told no. But like every league was just like, no, you're automatic. Sorry. And he was like, why can't I change it? I was like, you just can't, man. Like
Yeah, they really don't let you change your aliases anymore. Like you can't, even if you want to.
once you make it pro, like it's
Yeah,
over. Like
yeah, you can't
can
change
do
it.
Premier and
And
stuff.
especially if you have a sticker, now you're definitely fucked.
Yeah, yeah. No, Valve won't let you change it. Like
Yeah, you can't.
Valve will not let you. Once you have a sticker in the game, you cannot change your alias. You have to stick with whatever your original sticker was. You don't have a
So I
choice.
looked up cold stats. He's got 1.07 FPR right now.
Like, hate to hear it.
Adren is actually tied with them. Adren's got 1.07.
Oh yeah, yeah. Adren's been banging out lately too. He's been killing it.
Simple 0.98. But yeah, those first 3
What's
matches.
what's
like,
Cold's KD though? Like he had something ridiculous. Like I remember in
plus
after
58.
yeah, that's insane.
So
that is so
Adren with the
insane.
exact same stats plus 34, but 1 less match played.
Are you
Yeah.
wearing an Arsenal jersey because Arsenal won today?
No, I'm wearing the Arsenal jersey just because it was clean sitting on
Oh.
the top of my laundry pile. So that's just the one I grabbed.
That was thought out.
There really wasn't much thought put into it. There really wasn't. But they did beat Bayern today in preseason on penalties. So we
Five
take
good-
those.
five
We
good
take
teams.
those. Yeah, we take those.
Wait, one topic I wanted to talk about was how you guys feel about NA scrims and just NA practice overall.
I don't think it's as bad as people like make it out to be.
I don't think
like,
so
I
either.
play
It
Liquid,
depends who you
they're
play
trying.
against.
I play Optic, they're trying. I play Energy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Like most teams you play now, it's like they're trying to win. Like, but like they're also like trying to run their strats and shit. It's nothing like
Well,
everyone has like it's everyone's job now. You know, like before, like when NACS like sucked and shit, is like people didn't take it as seriously. Like people didn't put in as much effort as they are now. Now we have like, if you count Immortals and SK, there's like 6 or 7 teams that live in NA that are like constantly make these big tournaments. Like they do well at these tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, you play most of the top 10-ish NA teams, and everyone's trying. The only thing that might happen is if they feel like they've been scrummed too much and they've lost, they might like not
Yeah.
feel like they're trying as much. But I mean, the same shit happens in Europe. I boot camp there too. Like once you're up, 18-4 or something, a lot of times they're gonna kind of give up a little bit. Not saying they're not trying or running a default, but they're gonna peak you more and just make more like big plays. It happens to every region. It just NA definitely had that reputation of people just doing whatever they want, and I don't feel like usually if a team is doing whatever they want, it's like the whole team is doing it. Whereas like I feel like before it was like 1 or 2 guys just wouldn't care on a team and they would just fuck everything up.
I think it's more so the teams that just straight up cancel like a BO3 5 minutes
I hate
before
that.
you're about
I
to
hate
play.
when
Just like the whole day is just ruined because like people
Yeah.
don't want to wake up and play you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's happened to me many times. But yeah, I agree. Like I think the comparison to EU and NA is pretty similar because we boot camp for 3 days, and even the boot camp I did before Cologne last year, I found you get better practice versus the tier 2 European teams. Like,
yeah,
like
100%.
LDLC and I guess Big's not a tier 2 European team anymore, but even Big, just like those teams try way harder in scrims. Where I'm not gonna say any names, but like the tier 1 teams, I find maybe it's just because they're scrimming us or something, but it just seemed like they're just playing to play. Like I
Yeah.
feel like
Well, yeah,
we got way better practice versus like the LDLCs. And
Well, that's
those
the other
sort of
thing
teams.
too. Is it depends who you're playing against because some teams might be practicing for different reasons at a certain time, right? Like one team might just want to be practicing their default, and when a team's just practicing working on their default on a certain, because like let's say like they're trying to add a new map to their map pool, so they're just sort of practicing their default on this map. So it's going to be scrimmier because it's a new map they're trying to add to their map pool and they're working on a default, blah blah. Whereas if you're playing against a team that's like playing on one of the maps that are already their best maps and they're trying to refine their stuff that they already have as their best, and maybe they're practicing new executes or new whatever, then they'll seem like they're practicing more specific things. Whereas if you're practicing against a team who's working on their default, it'll seem scrimmier. And then so it sort of depends what team you're playing against and what they're trying to accomplish with their practice.
I feel like NA just complains a lot more publicly.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
People just whine.
'Cause,
People
like-
just like to whine about shit.
Because there's a very simple solution. If you don't like the way a team practices, you just don't practice against them. You
Yeah.
just practice against a team that you like practicing against and you feel like you
Right.
get the most out of.
I
It's
think
because
the
it's
best
like
team to scrim is
yeah.
probably C9. I feel like they always take like scrim.
Yeah.
They run like strats in their scrims. They don't
Yeah.
really just scrim you. And
You know,
SK some days, like you said, they're just so good. Sometimes you just get owned. But we've like beat SK on train when it was really obvious they were just running like one strat the whole time. Like
Right.
it's not like
Yeah.
oh my god we beat SK, we're fucking sick. It's like nah, they were just trying this thing the whole half just to it was obvious. You know what I mean? Or like
yeah.
you play a team and they rush outside every round and it's like well, you can tell they're just practicing shit and that's what practice is for. But yeah, I definitely think the 2 best teams is probably C9 and SK to scrim, like just in terms of like
say
where you're gonna
CLG
get.
as well.
The CLG
Yeah,
is good
CLG
for
always
practice.
plays like yeah, just because you get a lot of confidence from winning. So
You always build up your confidence when you just get to shit on CLG and scrims all the time.
CLG always takes like the rounds serious and shit, and I feel like I don't know. People say Optic, but they just scrim us. Like I feel like they don't even try when I play versus Optic. They just jumping through smokes and like doing random shit. So and then they talk shit to us about not trying. So I don't know. Like
Probably not anymore now that Chet's there. Like it'll be different.
yeah,
Yeah, their team's kind of been in limbo so I can kind of
No.
understand it.
I'm not like mad about it, but I just mean like they'll sometimes be like, "Oh, you guys are scrimming." I'm thinking like, "Well, you're just scrimming also. Like literally, like that's all you're doing right now." So, but I know they got to make like replacements and probably
For-
roster changes come in. So I don't know what's happening
mean,
with that, but
they
it's
they
pretty
did that to
obvious.
us before too. It's like, yeah, we scrimmed them on cobble once, and Mixwell's just we're T side cobble, right? Like you don't push a CT side cobble that much, like into the whole like T side area. Mixwell, like a few times, Oscar just like he's out in our spawn just like 5 times in the scrim, just like just
What do you guys think
kills
about
all of
Liquid,
us too. Like,
dude?
it's just weird.
That's the team like I feel like that has so much talent, but like they haven't been doing much. You know, is that just me or is that like?
Do they not
I
play
don't know.
that much, or like what? Like, do you
They
guys
have a
scrim
lot
them?
of they have a lot of personalities on that team though. Like when you look at the
I know,
players
but
on
like
that team,
when you look
like
at that
all the
lineup, though,
if you
it's
just look on
talented as fuck.
paper, it's like wow, they have all the good perfect roles, talented
good
players, a good coach, a great coach, probably the best coach, one of the best coaches in the world, and but then but when you know all the personalities of the players on that team, you can sort of see and be like, oh, I can see how this isn't working. You know what I mean? Like you can see it once you know them.
I think maybe a little bit of star syndrome on that team because
Yeah.
you're gonna have all this talent, and you know what happens? The opera gets shafted every single time into like more of a support role.
I do
just
feel like
because it's
JDM
like,
has just lost it nowadays. Like I'm
you
not
think
even
he's
saying
bad, or
he's-
you think, or
No, he's just
I know
isn't
he's
as
not
impactful
bad.
as he used to be.
But I feel like that's also like a byproduct of him being like kind of a support opera now.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
he doesn't, you just throw nades for him. Like he's not really doing anything. And I guess JDM is more of a passive opera in general. But
Yeah.
I think with Stanislaw being a lurker, Twist being a lurker, you have like Nitro and Elige kind of aggressive, and it's like it's a really talented lineup, but it's also like the roles are a little bit weird. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I feel like
Stanislaw
maybe
has been like way more of a support player lately, which isn't his best role. It really just isn't.
I think Stanislaw needs to be the main lurker.
I think
on
so
a
too.
team.
I agree with that.
Well, he's calling at least, and Twist should be third in, kind of cold zero type of role, and then
But I don't think.
not
But the
really lurk.
the problem with that is though, I don't think Russ is a good enough support player. Like to be a third man in, you also have to be really educated
You have
on
to
how to be a
know all
good
the
support player,
stuff.
right? You have to know all the nades. You have to know when to throw them, and you like you don't just have to like you could teach anyone. Okay, when this happens, throw this. But when you're the third man in and you're a support player and shit hits the fucking fan in the middle of a game,
Yeah.
you have to be able to split second decision. No, I need to change this nade and throw this nade now. Like the strat's fucked now. I have to now do this, and you have to be like a smart support player to know when and how to do that. And I don't think that's his skill set is the problem.
I agree with you. I definitely think the most powerful role, the biggest carry role in the game, is eventually going to be a third man in on T side.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that like you can't consistently own as being an entry. Second man in, you'll have your games like you'll be consistent, but at the end of the day, the third guy is always going to be alive in sight with bomb down. He's going to always be able to make the big plays for clutches, for trades, for everything. So if you put your most skilled player in the third man role, ideally that is going to like always let him do his thing, and you can kind of see that with Cold, right?
I was about to say SK's perfected that. Like you got Phelps. You have Phelps pressure lurking. Like Phelps is always fucking pressure lurking. It's so annoying. Like he's never like that hard lurk. He's always just in your face, and he always has the potential to just kill both the people where he's going, right? And then you have Fallen, who's really is a support opper, but he's still nuts. And then Cold, and then you have Fur and Taco, who are like just nutty entry players. Like SK has it perfect right now. They have like all their roles fit perfectly to the current meta.
No, yeah. I mean, SK is the best team in the world for a reason, and I think that Liquid just don't have like everything set properly. Like this is my opinion. Like they tried it, it didn't work. From an outside perspective, you can always think something works, but until you've actually been on the team and like some people might have said something about my teams before, and it's like, no, we tried that and it was worse. So I definitely could be wrong. I just think that like you should just be putting. I mean, obviously, Elige is like a great aggressive player, right? Like everyone knows that he can like put up huge numbers, kind of first, second man in.
From the outside looking in, though, it's like I completely agree with Stan has to be the lurk because like Stan's biggest positive, especially when I played with him, is he like never makes mistakes.
Yeah,
like his aim isn't on the level of Twists or like Elige, but he pretty much never makes mistakes, and that's someone I want like on the other side of the map making those choices.
And he especially never
JDM
makes
does kinda
glaring
get
mistakes.
lost, though. I feel like JDM is like lost in the mix here. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like the
agree with
focus
that.
is on like all the other pieces, but not JDM.
Yeah, I agree. I think that because his team isn't like based around him, it's like really hard for him to be really impactful consistently.
Yeah, I
'Cause I
feel like
remember
on
when he was on
CLG, you guys
he
kind of
was-
base it, right?
Yeah. We played around him a lot. I've played around all my operas that I've had, like Peter before that, and then like even now Kenny.
Mhm.
From being an opera, I really think that like if you want your opera to own and like really utilize the weapon, the game plan has to either make him second or first priority. Like if you want him to succeed, if you don't really care and you rather your riflers be the ones that are doing all the work, it's fine. But your opera's just not going to have the impact that he could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because the opera, a lot of people think, oh, you're an opera, go get a pick. Well, you need people to set you up. You can't just fly around the map and just like shotgun people. Like it doesn't work like that.
Right.
I mean, Dust 2, yeah, you could kind of make your own space, but that map's gone, and like a lot of the other maps,
Or you
if
could
another
just be
opera's
Henny.
holding for you. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like outside of whatever personality clashes they have, I think Liquid's biggest thing holding them back is that they're not playing around JDM. Like I don't feel like you can win tournaments if your opera isn't comfortable.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think
And like,
that's-
I mean, they got
Scott-
really unlucky losing to Flipside because Electronic went off and they didn't make the
Yeah.
major because of it. But
Yeah.
like, I just feel like I don't know. They like need to win soon. You know,
I
what
feel
mean?
like Skadoodle is like a good example of someone that would work in Liquid, you know, like doing JDM's current role. Like he's like comfortable just being ultra passive and like
Yeah.
throwing grenades and being like
because he's already a support
flusher.
op. On, like,
Yeah,
top
that's-
10.
Yeah.
yeah.
He is.
So like Ska's not being set up for kills, but at the same time, I don't think he cares. Like I think
Because he puts Sky in that 1v3, he like wins it.
yeah.
He like stays alive. He like almost the biggest baiter on that team.
And I think like JDM's good at those too. You know, like winning. Like he's
Yeah.
a pretty good clutch hopper. For me, I always thought like I don't know. I felt like clutch hopping was like it depends on how you're set up. You know, like if the bomb's down for you, you're in a good spot. It's all right. But
And I think JDM has all the pieces on Liquid though. Like he has all the riflers that would like go in first for him and shit. I just think he's not comfortable for whatever reason.
yeah, I mean we don't know like the personalities on the team, how they mix together. I guess the last question I would have had as like the host would be, who do you think the best player in NA is? I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm Stewie as well. I know, like, I think Thorin said Elysia's, but I think it's like Stewie, not even close.
Yeah, because Stewie, like
Personally.
that's obvious. Stewie's
I think-
calling for his team right now, and he's doing a pretty good job. He's opping. He's secondary ops. So he's opping, calling. He rifles pretty well. Like that's his standard role. He lurks. He entries. So like he does every role, and he does it like
yeah.
better than most players. So
The way
I think
don't
from a
understand how it's
role
even in competition.
perspective, I think Stewie's the best. But mechanically, I think Elige probably like just in terms of like spray and like just killing people. I don't know.
Yeah, the way
Then
I like
couldn't
to think of
Shroud be
it.
in that argument though?
No, because the way I like to think of it when like you ask this, when people ask this question is, I don't like to think of it as like, okay, like well based on this, and this, who do I think is the best? I like to think if I had to pick one person right now to start building a team with, who would I pick? That's sort of how I like to think about it. And even though I think Stewie's more dynamic than Elige, I think if you were picking a team or a player to start building a team around, I think you would pick Elige first before Stewie. I
don't
would.
know. I
I'm saying
think-
me
I think if you-
personally. Me personally,
yeah.
I would pick Elige over
I feel
Stewie.
like
Fuck
the
your
role
opinion.
though, like
I mean, obviously, I would pick finesse first, but after that, we would have to go
in
with Elige.
in NA though, with our lack of like North American players, not accounting like Euros and Brazilians, I think Tim is the most useful to
Yeah.
pick.
Oh, yeah,
like,
without
if-
a doubt.
like,
See, for me, it would be
it-
Elige, Tim, Stewie would be like my three.
but I think you can replace Elige's role easier with someone else than you can.
Yeah, like I feel like
Yeah.
Rush can
Yeah.
just do the same job Elige does.
Well, he
for
can do the
example.
same job, but he can't do it. He can't. It's
might not
clear
be
that he
as
hasn't
good,
done it
but-
as well as Elige has. Like, he just hasn't. He can do it. Anyone can do it. I'm just saying the Elige puts up the best numbers while doing one of the hardest roles. That's why. I
But you
would pick
can't
him.
like Rush in a good system. Like when he had Stan calling, Rush was better than Elige when he was with
I
Stan.
wouldn't say
in my
that.
opinion. In my opinion,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this
that's fine.
year, you can't really
But your
account for
opinion is
anything
wrong.
Optic does.
Yeah, I mean, you can have an opinion. It's just it's just
But
not
like,
right. That's
if
fine.
you look at Optic this year, they've literally had a stand-in the whole year.
Yeah,
They
no,
haven't even
Rush
had
isn't
a
bad
lineup
at
they
all.
want. So,
I
like,
just honestly, this is how I feel. If Optic lose, like if this happens, like if they lose Mixwell somehow, like Mixwell goes back home or some shit, I don't think like Optic will ever be on the level that they were in the past ever again. Like I think Mixwell is like just
He's like the centerpiece. Like
Yeah,
he
like,
is what
really-
brings them to winning
yeah.
tournaments.
yeah,
I agree.
exactly. Like I
Mixwell
think when
doesn't always top frag, but everything he does is like big impact,
Yeah.
like pistols.
He'll just win you a game
Yeah.
straight up.
that's what I mean. Like and against good teams. So like I feel like obviously NAF would be like number 2 on that list, but like they need Mixwell. So like if they like lose him, I think it'll be like a massive blow.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know,
Maxwell's just like so good at everything.
dude, he's just so
It is.
good. I remember the first day that he was here from Europe. He was in North America, and we scrimmed against you guys. We played on Cobble. Mixwell went like 46-9 against us in Cobble, and we lost like 24-6. I just remember thinking, who the fuck is this guy? Why have I never heard of him? And why is he just like 30 times better than all of us put together?
Dude, I remember just watching his demos. I'm like, how is this guy not on SK? Like, even if he speaks Spanish, like they'd translate. Like, I watched his demo. I'm like, how is this guy not on top 3 team in the world? Because he's literally insane.
Yeah, he is insane.
Especially when he's comfortable. When he's like, when Mixwell is like motivated, happy, and comfortable, it's just
He just looks
he's-
emo right now. Like if you look at streams,
Yeah.
he just looks like he's like depressed, like at events. Like he just looks
well, yeah.
sad.
When I played with him, like, there's multiple times where he's like wanted to go home because like he's like a family oriented guy. Like he misses
Yeah.
his friends and stuff. Pretty
Yeah.
sure he has a girlfriend in Spain too. So like, he's definitely like misses home ever since even the beginning. So I think like if he gets to a point where he's like happy, comfortable, motivated, he's one of the best players.
I think it would benefit Optic a lot to do some sort of boot camp in Spain where Mixwell can like go home, spend time with his family, and they get to boot camp in Europe. Like mutual gain, right? You boot camp in Europe, and Mixwell gets to visit his family, right? I think that'd be something they should really consider doing.
I think all orgs should send their teams to boot camp for like
I
a
literally
week.
have never been to a boot camp in my life. But like,
It's just
dude, the
like-
most useless boot camp I've ever heard of was what Energy and Misfits did. They went for 3 days to Spain, and then lost in groups.
Hey,
But like,
Alright.
why are you going to Spain for 3 days?
we both lost in the same group. So
No, I won. My team lost.
your team's been together this whole year in a house. You've been in like a boot camp this whole year.
Oh my
Technically.
god, that's true. But like, I don't. Oh yeah, that's another thing actually.
That's
Now that I
true.
think about it, that's actually brings me to like another topic where like gaming houses. Do we need them?
No.
Like, do you guys think they're necessary?
No.
Because I
No.
do not.
Of
think
course
they're
not.
necessary.
Of course they're not.
And I've lived.
Is this
with
really even a
one-
debate? Like,
Well, like.
I think it's good at the start of
to
teams.
think that it is.
I think it's good
Necessary.
for short periods of time.
First month or two.
Yeah.
I
and
feel like it's
also-
only necessary if you're boot camping at
Yeah.
the house.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, it's also because if you had like for you guys have Ricky, right? Like he needs a place to live.
Right. No, that's fair. Like obviously, if he has nowhere to live, but I'm saying like, in general, I don't think all 5 players need to be in the gaming house.
No, they don't.
It's
This
just-
podcast
like,
is my
takes your life into
request
CS,
to
like-
CLG basically to let me stay here. Oh, like, do you guys feel like you get more work done when you're at home, or is that just me?
Yes.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like I
Yes.
do much
Yeah.
more when I'm at home in the sanctity of my own room than like I am when like a bunch of other people around me. In a
I
gaming
think
house.
it depends on the people you're
I think it
surrounded with.
depends too. Yeah.
No, every gaming house I've ever been at, I've done more work when I'm at home, like
Well,
individually.
that's
like,
a you
I
problem.
feel like
then.
complacency in any way
I DM
can ruin
more.
that. Though.
I watch demos more. Like I just ever do everything a lot more. I feel like.
I think I know what FNS means. It's like when you're practicing with your team is better to be like when you're beside each other, like when you're actually like in the scrims and matches. However, when you're outside of that playing like rank S, watching demos, like that feels better when you're just in your own room, like
Yep.
at your house, and
That's-
like going to bed, waking up like in your own house and not being with those people. It's
Right.
nothing against the people. It's just like
Yeah, like it doesn't matter who it is. It
That's
literally
why-
doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
That's why I think Liquid does it well, right? They give each of their players like their own apartment to live in. I think that's a good idea.
That's insane. Yeah.
I like
I
the way
think
they
the
do
most
it.
efficient way to do it would be each person has their own place and they like obviously not commute like half an hour, but like they
I don't
go
know
to
why
a
you
place where
guys-
they play together.
I don't know why
Yeah.
no one's thought of a castle as like an idea.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
boy.
crazy. Yeah,
We got
That
another
would
hour
be
to
good.
go.
We had like a castle for all the.
we had a castle.
That's what we should do. We
There
should
Very
you
just
go.
efficient, just all tournaments hosted there, all dinners,
Never travel.
just
Just,
every team just taken care of in one location.
it would be so much more efficient for everyone, you know.
I can't believe no one's
Just
thought of
fan
that.
meetups.
I know. What a dumb community we have.
Wait, can we wait? I have a question for Splice. What happened with RYX and Aria?
So
Here we go.
basically, it was just like I don't know how much they want me to say.
I was
but,
about to
like,
say I
it's
don't know
just-
how much
it's
I'm allowed
just-
to say either.
Like
We gotta
it
just
was
not be bitches right
it was
now. This is all
essentially
everything
just-
comes out.
It was essentially
Yeah,
like
fuck everyone.
they put a lot of money and a lot of time into this roster because people have to understand this roster's been around for like a year and a half, right?
Longer.
And they've
yeah.
constantly been like reshuffling rosters, so it was like one of those things where they just wanted to like they didn't feel like we were making a lot of progress, which we weren't. Like we made pro league great, but like in terms of like qualifying and doing well, it was like one day we own, one day we suck. You know, there was no consistency. Like, and then it was just like they just wanted to change. So that's what they wanted, and yeah, I mean, nothing much more to say. They just wanted us to really take this break time and like find the two players that fit and build around that. You know, they're not saying that like if we don't do well in the next month they're going to cut us or anything. That's not what it's about. It's
They
just
just want you to like actively make changes.
One of those
to
young
improve the roster.
Canadian studs in this call right now. Those potential prospects.
potentially.
Let's just
but,
say
yeah,
I'm under a contract.
I can't believe
That's
that you would leak the
We're
FNS
locked
leaving
in.
CLG. That's crazy.
locked in.
FNS is locked in for the next however long $800,000 buyout. No
And-
one's
and you-
touching.
And you have to understand that well, like get along as a team. Like if the org doesn't like someone's attitude or they don't like
Wait, does
the
Slice
effort
have a
they put-
house, Corey?
They did, but we weren't required to live there.
That's what I
that
need.
was
I need
because
to
they
talk to
needed
CLG
the
about
that was
this.
because we needed a place for the Europeans to stay.
Yeah,
This is
and
what I
I
need to talk to CLG about, dude. I need to like have an option of whether I need to want to live there or not.
I mean, like if I always said like I was gonna go to the house if we like had something really important. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I'd go there for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something. I just didn't want to be there full time.
I agree.
I told them at the start I was like, if you want that, you should find someone else. I just like are really not about to live in a house again. And like I told them straight up I was like I'm just unhappy. Like
Get
if I'm-
drained. No, that's exactly what it is. Like I like all my teammates. I like the house. I like everything there. But I feel like I'm happier when I'm home. And like I don't have to see all my teammates and shit.
You have
and,
friends
like,
and shit, right? Your
Right,
family.
exactly.
No,
Like,
he doesn't.
Overall, it's way more comfortable like being at home than it is like being in a gaming house where like you're just away from friends and family and shit. It's just like, but like this room in general, like for me, I feel like I get more work done efficiently than like I do like at a gaming
Like a
house where
very
you
So what you're
productive
saying is
Yeah,
they should move
there's
the
a
rest
lot-
of your team to your house.
there's just like a lot of distractions
Yes.
when you're in a gaming house. Like you look to your right, you see a guy playing WoW. You look to your left, you see a guy playing Don't Starve Together. But yeah, no, it's like there's a lot of distractions. I feel like there's just a schedule. Like you have to go to dinner and shit. Like it's whatever.
Just mid demo, your whole team is just like doing a raid in WoW.
Too many distractions. But here, like I don't have to like answer to anyone. I just do my own thing.
Well,
And, like it makes me more motivated to work.
another thing I think that would be good if teams are gonna make people have a gaming house and live in a house and do whatever. I think that you should have one part of the house that's just like the practice area, and then everyone has their own PCs in their room too, so that you can actually go back
That's
and
what we
get
had on
some
TSM.
private
Like
time.
we had an office, and then we had our own PCs in
Right.
our own rooms and shit.
Right,
which
but,
was
but your
really good,
internet
but
didn't
even
work
then I was
90% of the
upset on
time anyway, right?
Well,
Your
I
internet
upset
was
on
always
TSM
out there.
anyway, so like
It's definitely
ended up
nicer
being
that
like
way, but
Yeah,
you're
no,
still with them at all times. You
Right.
can still hear them yelling
Yeah.
in their rooms. Like
and I just told you we all hated each other,
yeah.
so it didn't help.
Yeah, no, that definitely doesn't help. All right, well, that's almost 2 hours, so let's call it there.
No, hold on.
oh, you have another
Ness,
one?
Are we
Oh,
just
sorry.
like renting an apartment downtown Toronto, just taking over the nightlife?
Yeah, I'm actually really down to just.
Is that the
live
plan?
it- Okay, well I gotta actually talk to like I don't know when this podcast is gonna be released, but I have to talk to my org because I don't want to live in a gaming house like on a permanent like basis anymore. So like I have to like see if that's like even allowed for me because honestly, like I said, I get more work done here. So like yeah, Daps, the answer is yes.
Let's do that.
All right. Well, FNS, thanks for coming on. And
Dude, I'm
what do you
really
have to
glad
say?
we did this, man.
Me too,
Like,
man. I'm really
you
glad
also,
you're here.
Also, I would just want to say that you've improved a lot as a player.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I want you to know that like you should keep it up.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Honestly, dude, you're mad good. All right, episode 1.